Hello, everybody. How are you doing on this fine Thursday, July 30th, 2026? It is 11:54 a.m. Eastern Time, and we have a lot to talk about. Oh, do I have some stuff to talk about with y'all today? Girl, am I in my own video? Okay. Woo, girl. Okay. So, first segment today. First segment of today's show, we are going to talk about Dan McNeff. Before we start talking about that, I want to ask you a question because on the next segment, after we talk about Dan and the police call and stuff, we're going to circle back around to something else that's kind of related but kind of new. It's going to be a little bit of a new topic, new-ish. But I have a question I want you to visualize. I want you to visualize something because I really want y'all to have time to think on this question. And you don't have to answer it in the chat right now, but I am going to ask you to answer it in the chat later. So just be thinking on your answer here. God, I pulled a muscle or something. Just to be thinking on your answer here, okay? I want you to visualize something. Let's say you go on a business trip, okay? You get on a business trip. You go on a business trip for work. Happens to be in Indonesia. Just so happens to be in Indonesia. And somehow, some way, you find yourself at an orphanage. Maybe it was a philanthropic trip. Maybe it was part of, I don't know, whatever. Okay, you're in Indonesia for a work trip. You find yourself at an orphanage. And, you help out there around the day, for the day or whatever. You help out around the orphanage in Indonesia and whatever. It's time for you to go home. You get on the plane. You're on the way back home and you have a thought, golly, those kids at the orphanage, I just feel like I want to help them. Like I want to help those kids at the orphanage. You're sitting there on the plane, you're racking your brain. You might have your particular set of skills. You might be a teacher. You might be whatever. Who knows? Teacher comes to mind because that's like obviously like if you're a teacher, you could probably help students out of school. But it's like it's an orphanage school. You want to help these kids. You feel so bad for them. Some of them's blind, by the way. Like a substantial portion actually is blind, and you want to help these kids. You can type it in the chat now. I'm not going to read the answers right now because this is not the first topic. But I just want you to be kind of thinking about that question. The question is, what types of ideas, and this serious question, would you be coming up with in your mind? What kinds of ideas would you propose to help these kids? In particular, the way that you want to help them is you want to help them, quote, this is a quote, escape the cycle of poverty. Okay, you want to help the kids from the Indonesian orphanage escape the cycle of poverty. Be thinking, we're going to talk about it in the next segment, which I don't know when it's going to be because we have a lot of stuff to get to before that, but we have some evidence to go through and stuff. But just be thinking, you want to help these kids in this specific orphanage in Indonesia. You're brainstorming. You want to help them, quote, escape the cycle of poverty. What are some of the ways that you might think would be helpful? What kind of skills maybe they would need to learn? What kind of resources it might be nice for them to have access to? What kind of educational supplements you might be able to anything. The sky's the limit. Okay. Now, we need to shift gears to the first topic of today, which is Dan McNeff. So, let me pull up the web. We'll start there today. Actually, I really like how I wrote this bottom scrolling thing right here. Let me read this because this is kind of like, I think, concise, right? Efficient, whatever. It kind of gets the whole point across without having to go back through too much stuff. I mean, I've talked about this same topic for hours, but there's new evidence that I want to share with y'all and go over today. So before Ammon and Matt McNeff, who are brothers, before they ran the show at the Bricks and the Minifigs, their dad, a man by the name of Dan McNeff, ran the show. Okay, he was the CEO at the Bricks and Minifigs. And before that, They all three worked together at a company that they co-owned. The name of the company is Legally Mine, LLC. Or was. Was. All right. So before Ammon and Matt ran the show at Bricks and Minifigs, their father was the CEO for a short time. Now, they did end up getting in a big falling out and legally and stuff like that. I'm skipping over a lot. Okay, but before Ammon and Matt were the CEO and the COO running the show at Bricks and Minifigs, before that, their dad was CEO. And before they were involved in Bricks and Minifigs, this is a recap, all three of them, Dan and his two sons, Ammon and Matt, worked together at a company they co-owned called Legally Mine, LLC. All right. So on June 10th, 2026, which is like, 6 weeks ago or so, Dan called the cops. And this was just moments after I revealed his suspiciously timed LLC name change. All right. So he had gone up there or done it online or whatever at the registry, the Secretary of State, to change the name of Legally Mine LLC, the company that Dan co-owned with his sons, but now the sons are the Bricks and the Minifigs, them, on the very same day that Reckless Ben put out part 1 of his Bricks and Minifigs saga. Now, the reason I personally found that to be very important was because at the time it wasn't publicly known for sure within, the collective, investigation of this whole thing. It wasn't publicly known for sure at the time that I made this discovery that Dan was, in fact and indeed, involved to some degree with the business operations of Bricks and Minifigs, because that's what I was trying to figure out. Does the dad still have, this was the research question, does the dad still have, or has he ever had, any type of power, control, authority at the Bricks and Minifigs? He was involved in this company, Legally Mine. The Legally Mine was basically designed to help people not get sued or to hide their... I don't exactly know, but it was all about avoiding lawsuits and avoiding liability avoiding the liability that lawsuits and litigation might present, right? This Legally Mine company. So the same day that part 1 came out of the investigation into Bricks and Minifigs, this was May 21st, 2026. In the afternoon, Dan, or somebody with authority to do so, changes the name of Legally Mine LLC to LM Old Co. All right, this is how I started looking into Dan. Right, I'm putting this context out here because this is why it is a matter of public concern. It isn't that I'm just going and picking on Ammon's dad, his old geriatric man. No. No. And I refuse to allow it to be characterized that way, because Dan is an obvious liar and perpetual victim. And so I anticipate at some point he's going to say that I am the reason he's getting death threats. I made a whole video on this on my other channel, my documentary channel. Y'all let it flop. That's fine. But I made a whole video on it, essentially debunking the whole death threats thing. Completely debunked it. I annihilated his statements. Okay. But the reason we had these statements at all was because on June 10th, 2026, about 6 weeks ago, I'm making a live stream, as I do. I'm in the middle of my live show, and I am uncovering and revealing and exposing and also discovering some new stuff that Dan and his Legally Mine company had that name changed to LM Old Co. And I'm like, guess what day it is? I was wearing that blue dress, had the braids. I said, it was the very same day. Y'all have probably seen this clip a bunch of times now because people reported on it. The very same day part 1 came out of the Bricks and the Minifigs expose, Legally Mine LLC gets a name change. Well, a few days later, about a week or two later, a brand new Legally Mine LLC pops up. It's brand new. Now there's a whole new, separate, different company now since Ben's videos. There's a whole brand new, separate, new company called Legally Mine LLC. So I go to start looking into that company. Who owns it? Is it still Dan? Is it something new? The timing is suspicious, to say the least. Would you agree? Who would agree that the timing is suspicious? Ben's video comes out the same day that part 1, the part 1 comes out, the same day part 1 comes out. Legally Mine LLC changes its name. Legally Mine LLC used to be owned by the current CEO and COO of Bricks and Minifigs, the current owners of some of the current owners of Bricks and Minifigs. Is the timing suspicious? Legally Mine gets a name change. Not only that, 8 days later, there's a brand new Legally Mine LLC. Now, there's also a whole side thing about Legally Mine Tax and Accounting. They changed their name too. There's a new Legally Mine Tax and Accounting. There were a few suspicious activities that went on between May 21st and May 29th, 2026. I mean, there's some suspicious activities been going on this whole time. I mean, years probably, but I'm just trying to like reorient you to like, we haven't really talked about this specific aspect of the story. Maybe some people are behind, maybe some people don't, didn't know it. So I just wanted to kind of give this little overview. Okay. So this new Legally Mine LLC that pops up, the new one, the brand new, it's brand new LLC, Legally Mine LLC. The old Legally Mine LLC done changed its name to LM Old Co. for whatever reason on the same day. And on June 10th, 2026, just a few weeks after all that happened, I made the discovery. Look at the timing. Look at the day. Look at the literal actual clock time. It was like 10, 11 minutes before 5 o'clock, 4:49. 4:49 p.m., the name change on the day that the video of part 1 comes out. And I'm like, oh my God, look at the same day. I really think Dan has something. It was like a big discovery. People reported on that. It was a big deal. Big finding. Of course, it was public. Anyone could have found it. I just happened to. So, this new Legally Mine LLC company, the new one, just got started May 29th. I go to look into it, and it's like not Dan's name attached to this company. It's Centra Wealth Solutions is the principal. I'm looking into it, and I see a connection to Centra Wealth Solutions. So I look at who signed it and who incorporated this new Legally Mine LLC was, incorporated or seems to have been incorporated by, or I'm doing this off memory. Okay, so don't take this as a for sure. I mean, but it was like signed by, incorporated by him. Mark Comer, Comer, like James Comer. Mark Comer, Comer. Now, they're not related. I'm not saying they're related. That's not like a big shoe drop or anything. It's the same last name. Mark Comer, please do not confuse with Art McComber, who's a totally different guy, the supposed former FBI special agent who worked with Josh Johnson at Fortress Management and possibly Legally Mine and possibly also Fortress Management and Fortune Law. Mark Comer seemingly opened the new Legally Mine LLC. So I'm like, well, does this Mark Comer have anything to do with Dan McNeff? Is this possibly just a coincidence that there's been a Legally Mine LLC that Ammon McNeff used to work for, Matt McNeff used to work for, Dan McNeff owned for years, almost decades, from 2007, almost decades, like more than a decade. Legally Mine LLC, Josh Johnson used to work. Art McComber used to work. So I do a quick search. I'm like, okay, does Mark Comer, the new owner of Legally Mine LLC, does he have any connection to Legally Mine, the old Legally Mine? That's now LM Old Co. I couldn't find anything. Somebody did, and shout out and thank you to the person who sent me this. I don't know if I want to say her name. I think she said she wanted to be referred to as Tattle. So if anybody wants to, from now on, send me any tips and you don't want your name said, just say you want me to say Tattle said it. We'll go with that. Yeah, I'm like, listen, Rose Investigates. I'm not gonna go out and make that allegation. I mean, they do appear to actually be two separate different people. But thank you for the $2 super chat. Rose said Comer doesn't equal McComber, doesn't equal McComber, doesn't equal goofy card number 1, goofy card number 2, goofy card number 3, goofy card number 4. Exactly. Woo. Okay. I am feeling a little bit better. Thank you, the hair extension specialists. I am feeling a little bit better today. I'm still not feeling all the way there, but we're just going to move right along and do our best here. So Mark Comer's name is on all the new Legally Mine LLC stuff. I look up and I'm trying to see, does Mark Comer have any connection to Legally Mine? I don't see anything. A little birdie who wanted to be referred to as Tattle did say that, or was able to find, there is a Comer associated with Legally Mine. He used to do these presentations and stuff. His name's Steve. I think they said that this is Mark's brother. I wasn't able to fully look at all their research and stuff though. So for the purposes of just this overview, Legally Mine LLC Legally Mine LLC gets a name change the same day part 1 comes out at the end of the day. I'd make this discovery, and I'm telling y'all about it, June 10th. Well, also on June 10th, and I have it narrowed down to like a 30-minute, what would you call it? Like a buffer, like a 30-minute give or take breakdown. I started my live stream at 11:08 a.m. Eastern. 11:08 a.m. Eastern, that's my time zone, is 2 hours ahead of where Dan is. So it would have been like 9 or whatever. 9:08 a.m. his time. But I did like a 4-hour and something live stream. When Dan called the cops, it was like 1 o'clock, between 1 o'clock and 1:30. It is ambiguous because when Dan called the cops, it was between 1 o'clock and 1:30 his time, which would have been between 3 o'clock and 3:30 my time, which would have been right as I was wrapping up, making the realization about Dan and then wrapping up my stream. Like, the reason that it's down to a 30-minute time frame is because we don't get the exact time that Dan actually called the cops. We only get the time that the dispatcher picked up the phone. And you would imagine that, the dispatcher would pick up the phone as soon as he called. But he claims on the 911 call to the dispatcher that he was on hold for 25 minutes. So we do know Dan is a liar and he cannot be trusted, but let's just say he was for once telling the truth and he really did sit on hold with the police to talk to a dispatcher for 25 freaking minutes. If he would have actually been telling the truth there, he sat on the phone on hold for 25 minutes, then that would mean that he called just a few minutes, like maybe 1 to 10 minutes after my live stream ended. After my live stream ended, where I start making all these connections. Look, Dan McNeff is probably connected to Bricks and Minifigs. This is their dad. This is Legally Mine. It was the next day after that I did that whole RICO lawsuit. Remember the Vail Corporate, which was a DBA, and it was like this whole real estate scheme. Lawsuit started, it appears in like maybe 2016, and it is still ongoing. It is still ongoing. It keeps going up to this court, getting pushed back down. So I'm making all these discoveries. I made those discoveries on the next day after this, but there was like a 2 or 3 day period where, I really went into researching Dan McNeff, and it was like June 10th, 11th time frame. June 10th is the day, like I said again, June 10th is the day where I made the connection that Legally Mine had that name change on the day that part 1 came out, May 21st. And then I also found that there's a new Legally Mine, and that's the Mark Comer. Well, I haven't really had a chance to dig into that Mark Comer guy too much until the last 2 days, and that's going to end up being segment 2 of today's video. But Dan McNeff called the cops. He called the freaking cops as my live stream was ending, or maybe possibly even before it ended. And he made all kinds of claims to these cops. Well, I would have never known he called the cops, except for the fact that Dan told the public that he called the cops. And he did so in this now deleted Facebook rant. We've read it many times here. I'm just going to very briefly go over it. He said, today's version of a lynch mob. Now, this was a few days after he called the cops. This is like maybe 2 days after maybe 3 or 4 days after. It's hard to keep up with exact dates because, like, when stuff gets deleted, then I have to, like, reverse engineer. Plus, there's time zone differences. Even if it's just a little bit, you know, somebody can post something. It can look like it was posted on a certain day, but if it was posted close to midnight, then maybe, you know, So this was posted a few days after Dan called the cops, okay? And we didn't know he called the cops. I had no clue he called the cops. I had just started talking about Dan McNeff, looking into, does he own Legally Mine? Does he own, he apparently did, but does he own any of BAM? Does he still have any connection to BAM? It's still to this day a research question I'm very interested in, but we have gotten a lot more information. He said on about June 14th, this public but now deleted Facebook post, this is a screenshot. As you can see, I saw it when there were only 13 likes. He said today's version of a lynch mob could very well be YouTube investigators. At one point, he says, 6 years ago, I was the CEO of Bricks and Minifigs. This was news. Nobody knew this for sure at the time. He came out and told us. My sons illegally, so he's talking about the current CEO and COO of Bricks and Minifigs, that's his sons. He's saying they committed a crime. Illegally removed me from being CEO of Bricks and Minifigs and sued me for control of another company I founded. That would be Legally Mine, LLC. He said, I have not had anything to do with Bricks and Minifigs since then. Regardless of this, in the last 10 days, I have been given multiple death threats, and 2 days ago, we saw people viewing our home from the hill behind our home with binoculars. And they shot out a big picture window that will cost thousands to replace. Now, I've debunked this entire, I even linked the video down below. I have a documentary debunking this entire, like, line by line. I went through line by line. There's evidence, there's police reports, and all of it. And in that video, in my documentary video that I made, I was waiting to still hear back from the Draper police to confirm that they didn't, I mean, I asked for everything. When I asked at first, I asked for everything. But they didn't send me certain things like pictures of the window. They just sent me the body cam instead of the pictures the officer took. They didn't send me the written statement of Dan McNeff. They only gave me the body cam, which was heavily redacted throughout the parts where Dan was talking about the death threats. Throughout the time when I was talking about the death threats, throughout the time when he was talking about the death threats, it was redacted. And so Draper Police Department really did not give me all of the information that I needed to ascertain whether or not there was even a death threat or whatever. But he said he saw, they saw people with binoculars. They shot out. Like, see how he says for sure it was the people they saw with the binoculars, and he says it like it's not up for debate, right? Like he says like it's a fact. The people who were with the binoculars on the hill shot out my window. And I just thought this was BS. I did not believe this for 1 second. That this is crazy. I don't believe this. Where are the pictures? Like I don't believe this. However, the status goes on. He says, no one stops to investigate truly. And I took that as a personal challenge. I mean, I'm still investigating. It's been 6 weeks. They make a lot of assumptions and hurt innocent people. Every one of those Bricks and Minifig stores is independently owned and operated, and they don't deserve to be hurt. Well, that's a lie. Not every single one of those stores is independently owned and operated. Some of them are owned and operated by corporate. So, I mean, he's a liar. This man is a total liar. It's despicable how much he can lie. Many of the people pushing this whole story have their own Lego stores and want to hurt their competition. And that could or could not be true. It doesn't matter to me. We want the truth. And if whoever's giving it, I want to hear it. And then he says, so my question is, who watches the watchers? Will Reckless Ben investigate all the innocent people he has hurt and do what he can to help them? And so when you read that status on his public Facebook page, when you read that status, it kind of leads you to believe there was a violent attempted murder by Reckless Ben. It leads you to believe Reckless Ben was there with a gun shooting at Dan McNeff's house. Well, as I have already debunked, the video is linked down below, that's not what happened at all. And there's proof that that's not what happened at all. But here he is basically making a public allegation that Reckless Ben did not stop to investigate truly, that Reckless Ben makes a lot of assumptions, hurts innocent people, right? Now, I've already gone over the 911 call. I'm not going over that today. I've already gone over the police reports. I'm not going over that today. But like I said, Draper Police Department did not send me everything that I asked for. Some of the things they didn't send me because they don't have. But some of the things they didn't send me, and I have no idea why, but now I got my hands on them. And that includes pictures of the supposedly shot out window, many pictures, as well as Dan and the construction worker, the contractors, written statements. Now, in the body cam, we weren't really able to see what those written statements said because they were blurred out. They were redacted. So now I have come into possession through a public records request of those written statements and some pictures. So let me pull that up right now. Okay. I want to redact one thing really fast. Just give me a moment, please. Okay. Got it. Can we get some likes? Can we get some likes? All right, let's start with Dan's statement. Now, we do have a statement from Dan. We have a statement from, I redacted his last name, even though it is a public record, but the guy's name was Tristan. And then we have, several pictures. And we're going to really need those people with construction knowledge, construction work knowledge, and DIY and power tool knowledge. We're really going to need you to look close when I'm zooming into these pictures. Okay. So here is the written statement. It says, Draper City Police Department voluntary witness statement, Daniel J. McNeff. They've redacted some of his personal identifying information, which is understandable. Case number 2026-1343-6 and case number 2026-13433. Now, why are there two case numbers? Because one was for stalking harassment and one was for property damage. So here's his statement. Okay, so on Saturday, and we've seen so many different dates for this freaking thing. At one point, they said Saturday was the 8th. Now, he said the 7th, and he fixed the 7th to the 6th, 6/6/26. So on Saturday, and we can figure it out. I mean, I think I did that. I think it's actually the 8th. Let me see. June 2026 calendar. It was the 6th. It was the 6th. So he fixed it to the right thing. Okay. On Saturday, June 6th, he says, I was working out of state. I wonder what he was doing. Was he doing a conference, a seminar? Well, what do they call it? A summit. On Saturday, June 6th, I was working out of state and I got a phone call from a person. Who? What number? Which person? Who was upset with me. Oh, excuse me. I got a phone call from a person who was upset with my sons over the Bricks and Minifigs affair. The anonymous, unnamed person blamed me and said they know where I live and they were gonna get me. Who is this person? Today, June 10th, 2026, 3 younger men. Now, how on freaking earth did Dan know it was younger men? He wasn't there. The person who saw the incident was the contractor, and then when asked, could you give a physical description of these 3 men you saw on the hill? He said, no, not really. They were very far away. I could only see the tops of their heads. One had a helmet on. So how on earth could you tell they were younger men? Dan was not there. He's trying to make it seem like Ben Schneider tried to kill him. That is what he's trying to do here. Today, 3 younger men stood on the trail behind my house, staring at it with binoculars. So what, even if that's true? It's a hiking trail behind his house, like 2 of them. Standing on the trail behind my house with binoculars. And they were looking, they were staring. Now, even though Dan wasn't there, he didn't see these people. Somehow he knows exactly what the timeline is. He said, just before they left, just before leaving, a window shattered. It was witnessed by people working on my house, on my back deck. So one more time, I'll read it all in one. On Saturday, June 6, 2026, I was working out of state, and I got a phone call from a person who was upset with my sons over the Bricks and Minifigs affair. They blamed me and said they knew where I lived, and they were going to get me. Today, June 10th, 2026, 3 younger men stood on the trail behind my house, staring at it with binoculars. They were there for a half hour, and just before leaving, a window shattered. It was witnessed by people working on my back deck. Well, when he went to talk to the people that worked on the back deck, this is not what they said. The guy working on the back deck did not see binoculars. He said, I did not see binoculars. I don't know what it was. It was a glint on the window. And so Dan took that to mean there was definitely binoculars involved, or maybe it was a scope to a rifle. That's Dan's whole statement. Now, this is a very, very, very far cry from what he later was whining about on Facebook 4 days later about giving multiple death threats. Someone shot out a window. This is not like his statement on Facebook and his statement written to the cops don't even add up to one another. They contradict. He was working out of town. He got a phone call from someone who, we don't know. They were upset with the sons and blamed me and said they knew where I lived and they were going to get me. Didn't put the phone number who called, didn't put the person's name, didn't say if it was. You know what's so interesting to me? He has all these details about these younger men, exactly where they stood and all that. He don't have no details about the phone call he received, but he got more details about something he didn't even see. The man is a liar. I mean, that's the only thing that I can come with. You know what's scary? They're teaching other people how to act like this to avoid legal consequences of their poor actions. And they're putting so many people in danger and in jail for made up fake stories. It's crazy. These people need to be held accountable for all of the lies that they have told to law enforcement. Whoever's going to end up having enough gall to do it, I can't wait to see. So we're going to move on now to the next police statement. This is the one that was written by that contractor. Very short, not a long, lengthy statement. It says, as I was working on the deck, I observed 3 individuals on the opposing hill from the deck I was on. One wearing dark or black clothing, the other a backpack, light in color. He says this went on for, I guess, 30-ish minutes. I would keep seeing glint coming from that direction. I was also using a circular saw in the area. And the trajectory is unlikely, but who knows? This man ended his police statement with, but who knows? And 4 days later, 3 days later, Dan is on Facebook whining, saying, like, for sure, Reckless Ben was the cause of his big picture window getting shot, his home getting shot at. A hiker has a backpack? Wow, how unusual and suspicious. Yeah, and binoculars. Trajectory, yeah, means he shot something off the saw and he didn't see where it went. Yep. As I was working on the deck, I observed 3 individuals on the opposing hill from the deck. I opposed 3 individuals on the opposing hill from the deck I was on. One wearing dark or black clothing, the other a backpack, light in color, for 30-ish minutes. I would keep seeing glint coming from that direction. I was also using a circular saw in the area, and the trajectory is unlikely, but who knows? Now, obviously the police closed both of these cases because there was nothing specific that anybody saw. It was much more likely that it was whatever came off that circular saw. I'm kind of starting to wonder whether that window even actually broke that day. I'm kind of starting to wonder if the window was already broken. Now, we have, I think, 17 pictures we're going to look at. Okay, so if you have familiarity with construction sites, construction work, circular saw trajectories, put your spectacles on. Oh, wow, look at this right here in bold. Dan, any false statement you make and that you do not believe to be true may be subject to criminal punishment. That's a Class A misdemeanor. That's a Class A misdemeanor. And look at Dan. I have read and understand this. I understand the statement above. You are notified that the statements made herein may be presented to a magistrate judge in lieu of your sworn testimony at a preliminary examination. Any false statement you make and that you do not believe to be true may be subject to criminal punishment, Dan. Maybe Dan should have put the "but who knows" at the end. And I just can't stop thinking about the fact that all of this happened on the same day I was uncovering the Legally Mine name change. Like minutes later. Let's take a look at some of these pictures. This is the window. I finally got the pictures. Here's the shot out window. Does it look shot out to y'all? I mean, it definitely does look damaged. Obviously, it's broken. He needs a new window. It's not damaged, but shot out? Anna Disguise said, "Be glad you have an alibi." He would have blamed me. That's fake. That's a Class A misdemeanor. Oh, thank God, y'all. We got a former Marine sniper in the chat. Whoa. He said, "Let's see those pics." Ha! Yes, indeed. Look. Nothing else broken. It's just, okay, yeah, they were on the hill with a BB gun. And the hill is very far away. Okay, so let's take a zoom into this, right? Because we were looking at nail heads. This is some of the questions I had. What in the hell is going on here? This was probably, what was something glued on top of here? What is this? Is this just normal? I mean, obviously something was on top of here and they ripped it up. Like it was probably other 2x4s or whatever, or maybe some type of deck planks or whatever. But it just looks so tore up. Look at that. Okay, let's see if we can see those nail heads. Here's some screws. This doesn't look like good craftsmanship, whoever did this. Where's the nail heads? Is this a nail head? Ah, okay. So is this one of those nail? I don't know. We need the... Now, we have a lot of pictures to look at. I'm just kind of going slowly. Anything? Y'all notice anything weird? Y'all notice anything I'm not noticing? I mean, it just kind of, to me, I'll just say it just looks kind of like, this is kind of an older deck. It's been weathered and worn, and they're just doing some repairs to it. I'm looking for the supposed nail heads. Like, okay. Let me see what y'all are saying. A sniper bullet would have destroyed that window. Dan lives in a glass house LLC, indeed. Thank you so much to Kitty for the $2 super chat. Good morning. Get the snacks ready. Yep. Thank you, Katie Lynn, becoming a new member. Thank you, Review DS Phil, for the 6 jewels. Thank you to Mutt Mobile Rescues for the 200 jewels. Thank you, David, for the eagle. Thank you, Dottie, for the fortune cookie. Thank you to Jima Hawaii for the jewels. Thank you, Amanda, for the sparkles. Thank you, Sarah, for the jewels, flower, and Sunday. Okay, let's get to this next picture. This is going to be picture number 2. Okay, so this one, we have a different angle, obviously. This is the broken window right here. Got some, action going on down here, and it looks like this is mostly like a shot from the side. So let's see. Yeah, this does look like this. Looks like this is like the most damaged. What is this? This is a 2x4, right? Or a 1x4? 1x4? There's just like some, what is this? Like a glue? What is this? Mold? Tree? What is this? And look. This is what I'm talking about. Look at this. See this damage right here? It looks different and more damaged than any other plank, whatever it is. I know y'all are going to make fun of me. This one looks the most damaged, and then the next most damaged looks like the one that's not next to it, but the next, right? So this one right here, we'll call it in the picture, there's probably more planks, but we'll just call this one number 1, this one 2, this one 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's 10 of them going that way, horizontally across the picture. Okay. Some of them look like they're in pretty good shape. This one, right? It's straight across the top. There's no, there's a nail head. Okay, I see the nail heads he's talking about. Oh, I see the nail heads. Okay, you see this? That's the nail head. Oh, no nail head here. Pfft, girl. Okay, as we go more and more, it gets kind of blurry, hard to tell. It doesn't look like there's more nail heads. Okay. That's a nail head, right? It looks like photoshopped, but these are the pictures from them. See, nail head, it's bent. And these nails, I'm assuming, are from the planks that were on there before. But do you see how plank number 1, 2, 3, 4 is like super, super damaged right there compared to the other ones? Like, compare these two right here. This is plank number 3. This is plank number 4, and this is plank number 5. Look at 5. It's like straight across the top still, even though it does have some debris. Look at number 3. Straight across the top, there's a nail head. Look at number 4. It's damaged. It's almost like something kicked up off this piece, like perhaps a nail head, I don't know, and went straight directly up to the top right here. That man better be happy it didn't fly at him. I mean, that's dangerous. Okay, so NZ said that damage on the joists probably happened when they pulled up the top layer, getting the sense that this had roofing on the top and this was covering an area below. I also kind of feel like maybe this was like an awning, because they kept calling it a deck, but I was calling it a roof. And I was like, this man has walked on a roof before, and people were like, that's not a roof, that's a deck. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, fine. But I kind of like had that sense too. Could be 1x10s. Okay, thank you. 2x6s, y'all are saying? That don't look like 2. Maybe it is. I don't know. That's not what they were repairing. Probably 2x6s. Okay. So the police chose to not take a close-up of the actual point of impact. Oh, girl, yes. We got a lot of pictures to look at. We only got to 2. We got 17 pictures to look at. There's all kinds of angles. We're going through it now. We spam police complaints LLC, right? Why not cover the window while you're working on the deck? I mean, John, your guess is as good as mine. I don't know. Jonathan said those look like 2x10s. Okay, so at least my ratio was right. Oh, no, it wasn't. I said 1x4. The ratio ain't right. They ripped up the boards and then they started cutting the nails instead of pulling the nails. The damage on the boards is likely the reason they're doing the repair at all. Oh, I see. They already brushed plank 3 for some reason. Brushed it with what? A deck would have a railing, you would think. Right. Yeah, it definitely was a roof because the rest of the deck doesn't match. And it doesn't match the other deck. And that other deck has railing all around it. They might be converting this into a part of a deck. Maybe that's why he's already calling it. No one is supposed to be like the first thing you do if you're next to it. Part of it is cleaner than others. Good morning. There is a hole, Calvin. There is a hole, but it's a small one. We'll see it. I'll show y'all. I'm not thinking roof. I'm thinking more like awning, but that is a good point. A roof wouldn't be flat, but maybe it wasn't. Maybe it had a little bit of a slope there and it went off the front. I'm not going to be going to Google Earth to Dan's address. Nope. I don't know what that is right there. Okay, so do y'all have all the images, all the analysis you need for picture 2? I mean, there's so much we could look at. That looks like some of the broken glass right there, right? Let's just do a close-up scan here. Spider webs. It does have something up under it too. I don't know. Could be a deck, could be a roof, could be an awning. I don't know. It looks like it's been here a while. I don't think this is like fresh built. Okay, we're just going to do a little scroll. Yeah, see nail head right there? Like imagine you have a saw and you saw right there. Shing, and then like part of this nail flies. Oops. And then that you can imagine it would make something look like that, right? And like the nail was going straight through maybe, but no, it doesn't look like it's doing that on these parts. Is that a nail? Hard to tell. We have other pictures to look at, so let's get to the third one. Different angle now. Okay. Now we have a different angle, kind of off to the right of the angle. We just had this straight on one, and now it's kind of off to the right. You do have a better view of the damage to the window. The window is damaged, no doubt. The window is damaged. It appears that is the only pane that is damaged. The big one right in the middle, the biggest one. As you can see, there is some spider webbing coming out from this impact point. You cannot really tell. There are much closer up. There's also pictures coming up that are going to be from the inside of the house. So we'll get to those as we do. This right here, my eye keeps going to this. My eye keeps going to this right here. That plank that in the middle right there. Right, literally right below. Look at that. Ching! So, we looking at anything new here? Anything else you can see? Okay. So here's the next picture. This will be the fourth one. It kind of looks very similar to the second picture, so maybe you got a little bit better angle of whatever this is. This greenish color stuff, I wonder if that could be glass. Maybe not. It could be anything, really. There really wasn't much glass that broke, right? Like, I mean, pretty much the entire window is like still in there, and those windows are mixed with like stuff that makes them, it's kind of like a glue that makes it to where if it is going, it's like tempered, I think they call it, but like they mix in stuff that like pretty much like holds it together, so if a window or like a windshield or whatever does have like an impact to it, it will stay pretty much within the frame and it won't just shatter everywhere all over the place. Okay, more kind of the same. I'm not really seeing too much different here. Just do a quick zoom in all around the window again, different angle slightly. Okay, we get another angle from just straight to the side. Looks pretty much same. Let's see. There's a nail right there. See that nail sticking out right there? Ooh, ooh. Here's a closer zoom in of, look, there's a nail right there sticking up. It does look like some of the nails got pulled up when they pulled up whatever they pulled up. Some of the nails got pulled up. There's also nails going into the sides on some of these. See, there's like some water damage to these. Yeah, this needed to be redone. Okay, next picture, next angle. Looks the same. I'm not seeing too much different from this angle. Same thing here. I am pausing long enough for y'all to get a look. Okay, kind of the same thing. Water damage more so on this side. All right, again, as you can see, there's really not much of this window missing, if any. There's a tiny little hole. Look at that. That looks fun. Is that a pool slide? Whoa, I'm going to the neighbor's house. Just kidding. It's a joke. I'm not going to the neighbor's house. But that does look like a fun pool slide. Okay, what do we see here? A little bit. Okay, I don't know what this thing. They've been calling it a deck. I don't know. So here's what used to be here. This might give some new insight here. There's like, what is this? Like some type of, what is this floor? Looks like concrete or cement, but then when you zoom in, it's like wood. This is horrendously damaged. We haven't really gotten too much of a view of this. This might help some of the construction folks in here tell me what this thing used to be. See, it's like torn up. Like they tore this up. Whatever was covering this, whether it be other boards or some type of siding or roof or I don't know what it was, they tore it up. Like they ripped it up. You can tell it's like these shredded pieces of dry rotted wood or wet damage, water damaged wood. Okay, anyway, so yeah, we have, yeah, okay. And we have the cord. All right, so now these are the pictures from the inside. So now we're moving. We're moving into the inside. All right. So this is where I was like, you know what? This is so ridiculous. Shot out his window. Where? Where is it shot out? I mean, it's damaged. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say there's not damage. If this happened to my big picture window, I'd have to get it fixed, you know, or whatever. But like, where's the shot out part? And he blamed Reckless Ben. Where's the shot? Oh, I think that's right. I think this one piece of glass right here is missing. I think literally this one piece of glass came out. This. It looks like strands of OSB that was also held down by adhesive. The glass wasn't penetrated by a projectile. That pic proves it. Well, it looks like this is like, okay, this is why I think it was. Look around. Okay, first, like we're starting here at this little tiny thing, which could be a hole or maybe is not. This one right here. If you zoom out, you kind of look all around it. To me, it looks like this is kind of like a tinted glass. Like it's almost like a bluish gray, like a very slight tint. And this right here doesn't look tinted to me. Like all of this right here around looks a little blurry, a little tinted, but like this looks like it's a different color. And that's why I think, you see what I mean? Like this to me looks like a slightly different color. It doesn't have that tint. It doesn't have that filter. I could be wrong. Look, they had something hanging right here. little suction cup hook. And you can get a little bit of an indication of, you know, those boards and things. Look, I think that's the damaged one. This is board, I don't know. All right, here's another picture. Pretty much the same picture, actually. Yeah, it's like pretty much the same. They just took another one. Again, here. It's almost like you can see. It's almost like you can see the three-dimensional, like how thick the glass is here. I do think that there is one little tiny hole. Why didn't they take a closer picture? Maybe they did. Somebody said, that nail-sized piece of glass is missing. Likely in between the two panes. Oh, like fell down. Somebody said there's a rock on the floor. Let me see. There's a rock-looking thing on the floor. Okay, let's see. It's dark. My brightness is all the way up. It's hard to tell. Let's see. Down on the floor. I don't see anything on the floor. This is the last picture. So, yeah, this is just a mess. You can't really tell anything here. So, I mean, these are the pictures. These are the nail on the floor. Well, I don't see a nail. I don't see a nail on the floor. Hold on one second. Checking my email. I think someone said. I checked my email. I don't see any email from anybody. Oh, interesting. It does kind of look like that. Okay, so let me show y'all this. Somebody sent what it looks like when there's damage from an air gun. Mustang said this is likely a weather-damaged roof that covers a lower porch area. I'm voting it was a nail or a piece of screw that was cut and it hit the window. Nail, something very high. Jack said, nail, something at a very high speed and thin. Wonder if it's in the wall on the other side of the room. No broken glass inside. Tempered glass, but if it was shot with a projectile going at any velocity, it would penetrate and make a round hole. Prank call the cops LLC. Thank you, Cabinet, for the 99-cent. Cabinet Pete for the 99 cents. Webbed cracking would go down to a smaller point. Yvette said, do you notice how only right in front of window there's a missing crossbar piece of wood? The nail shrapnel hit the window when contractor saw through the nail holding the crossbar. When he was sawing through it. Oh, Ryan. Okay, good point. Yes. Okay, insulated windows have double pane. It is double pane. They said that in the police report. And they're separated with so-called, quote, voids. This could be, hence the missing piece of glass. The missing piece of glass could be between the two panes. It's a double pane. I don't know about double glaze. Somebody sent me this. Police have classified it a deliberate act of vandalism. Glazer is certain it's been hit with an air gun or BB gun, possibly a catapult. If anyone else has had similar damage, please report to the police. Has anyone So this apparently is supposedly, according to this Facebook post, what a BB. Oh, this doesn't really look like what that looks like, though. That doesn't look the same. This is like an extremely defined hole, like a perfect like circle. And then there's like a larger blast out this way, and it goes, all of it goes uniformly to a smaller point here, like like a funnel. I mean, it looks like generally similar. Yeah, there's like a point and then it spreads out, but like the actual point of impact does not look like that. So it looks more jaggedy, like not so perfectly round. This looks like a perfectly round. That other one kind of looked jaggedy. Yeah, nobody says they heard the shots. Maybe it's because it was fired closer to the window. True, true, true. Okay, AC said this looks more like projectile. Yeah, because the other one maybe was shot at an angle or from far away. You can tell the glass stopped the projectile. This one looks like it happened from the inside. Does it? This was glass all here. Would it fall to the inside? I don't know. I don't know ballistics. I did do a close-up of the point of impact already. It's like, I mean, it's not really very clear, for one. But it is like kind of jaggedy. It's not like so perfectly round, but that could have been explained by it was, you know, maybe from farther away or a different angle. So we really don't get that close up. Like they don't give us too many close-ups. Like he didn't get very close. This is one. Hard to see. Hard to see. This is another one. Again, kind of difficult to make out what's going on there. This is probably the best one, I think. So here it is zoomed out. There's that point of impact. Oh, hold on. I didn't have it up. This one's the one I was talking about that I think is the best one. I had looked at these two, but they're not really clear. See what I mean? Like when you zoom into them, it gets blurrier and blurrier. This is the point of impact. You really can't see much here. That's one I looked at. I looked at this one too and said, you know, I don't really think you can see too much here. This one, you can't really see too much either, but it is clearer. And this is where it's like, you see what I mean? It kind of looks like, you know, that was a different window. That was a different size window. Like, you know, we can't really compare. It's like apples to oranges there, but, you know, it was interesting to look at. This right here is the point of impact. See what I mean when I say jaggedy? It's like geometrical. But again, that could have something to do with the type of window. That could have, you know, any explanation. There really isn't that much that I can do to get a close-up, unfortunately. Like, this is the closest I can get. It's like, it looks like there is, like, somewhat of a, like, hole right here. And then, see how this, like, looks more darker, and this looks like a slightly different color than this and this? Maybe not. But it's, like, almost like a diamond shape, rectangle, or square. Like, you know, it's, like, angular, not round. And this is the last one. You really can't see. So we can see enough to know that the window wasn't shot out. Looks more square, right? I don't think it's a hole. Maybe it's just reflecting. It definitely is a point of impact. It is consistent with a BB, or maybe the nail strike that we've talked about. The outside pane is spidered and the inside has the hole. Maybe. It is hard to tell. Amber says it looks like a hole from something. But not a BB. I don't know if there was a second break. All I know is when I have a broken window and there's a construction worker on my deck, the first thing I think of is it was a sniper. Anyway, what now? Okay. So I wanted to show y'all that. I wanted to show y'all that because it was new information, new evidence, new pictures, more things that I had asked for that we finally now have. Cool Comic Guy said, I don't care what anyone says. A BB gun would have to be less than 1,000. Oh, excuse me. Have to be less than 100 feet to do that. On a mountain 1,000 feet away, never. Light projectile because the glass is not missing. Well, I'm glad y'all are giving y'all's opinions on that. Thank you so much to C Mad. Oh, this is the former Marine sniper. Thank you for your service. To get that window pattern, something hit it with force and close. It would be shattered if it was a bullet. A BB or a pellet from the distance of the hill would not cause that window pattern. Thank you, C Mad. Thank you. And thank you for the $9.99 as well. To get that window pattern, it had to be something hitting it. This is a sniper. Okay, this is a sniper. I'm going to take his word, all right, over anything I'm saying. To get that pattern on that window, something had to hit it with force and close. If it was a bullet, it would be shattered. A BB or a pellet from the distance to the hill would not cause that window pattern. I believe you. I don't know why, I just do. Thank you, Tug, for the jewels. Thank you, Cabinet, again, for the 99-cent super chat. Thank you, Corey, for the 30 jewels and flower. Thank you, C Mad 34 Marine, for the $4.99. Semper Fi. The small hole in the window was punched out. No penetration. The force spray cracked the entire window. Whatever hit it bounced off. I don't know why I think this damage did not happen this day. I think it already had happened. I don't know why I think that, but I do. Thank you for the $4.99. Jim, okay, this makes sense. Maybe it wasn't like an actual full nail or nail head that went and hit the window. Maybe it was a part of the saw. Circular saw blades are made of a flat disc of steel with carbide teeth that are brazed to the steel. Carbide is extremely hard and brittle, so cutting nails can send small fragments of carbide flying. We need Mythbusters. Amy says she could throw a BB harder from 3 feet away than it would have hit from that far away. This deserves a separate web series, The Window. Ryan Doyle, I agree. That was kind of a little bit like a giveaway you told on yourself. Ryan said the contractor gave it away when they started covering up the other windows after the window shattered, in my opinion. Daniel agrees 100% with the carbide theory. That actually makes more sense than a nail head, but the nail head still makes more sense than the sniper on the hill. I don't think, Susie said, I don't think he would say he would pay for it if it was already broken. But what if it was the same craftsman there the day before? What if he's been working on the project for a few days? Daniel said, of course, the contractor isn't going to outright admit to breaking the window because it's going to lose him money on the job. But he did agree to pay for the window. Offer to pay for the window. And when the nail is on the left, it would shoot right up because they have to use it upside down. When the nail is on the left side, they would have to use see, this is what I'm talking about. I knew y'all are going to know more than me on this. There's like these actual bits of trade knowledge. Like you have to have actually used a circular saw to know this stuff. Like you just have to, you have to know this. Like, oh yeah, I know because I used it before. If the nail is on the left side, then he would have to use the thing upside down. And then if you're using it upside down, then if any projectiles happen, it's going to go straight up. Oh, someone emailed me a picture of the rock outside. Let me see. Can you literally imagine? Okay, hold on. Let me show y'all this picture. Can you imagine? This would be so funny. If this is what broke the window. Okay, thank you, Soda Freak, for sending me this picture. She took a screenshot from the live stream. Look at this. She said, there's a rock. I still think the carbide is more likely, but there is a rock right there. I don't know if that rock is hard enough to... I think the rock would break before the window. I don't know. But you're right. There is a rock right there. There is a rock right there. There's other stuff on the thing, too. Randy said, I don't understand why nobody believes Dan. He seems so honest. Mark said, I've been doing construction forever. And there are 1,000 different ways a worker could have broken that window. Dan gave them an easy alternative and they immediately took it. Where's the projectile? Is it hiding in the Lego sets? Dan forgot to pick the rock up after he threw it at his own house. Because of its hardness, carbide can break tempered glass with minimal pressure. This makes the most sense. I'm kind of sold on the carbide sawtooth breaking off. I'm kind of sold on that. Fingerprint the rock. Someone Photoshop a rock into the picture and send it to me. No, I'm going carbide tooth. That's my new theory. I adopt that theory as my own belief at this time. Okay, so that's that. I want to now talk about something else related to Dan. Okay, so remember the day he called the cops for this obvious, construction accident and tried to pretend it was reckless Ben doing an attempted murder. The day he called the police, I was live. I told y'all this already. I was making these connections between Legally Mine and Ammon McNeff and Dan and how he used to work at, possibly have control over Bricks and Minifigs. And, I'm making these connections. I make the connection that the name of Legally Mine LLC has been changed. And there's another company now, a new Legally Mine. Okay, so that's the same day as this police report. As those police pictures. And I'll start looking into the new Legally Mine. The new one. Dan's name isn't obvious anywhere. And it's this other guy's name, Mark Comer. That leads me to start looking into him. So we're going to look into him. Because he's like the new Legally Mine guy, right? I want y'all to answer me, though, that question I asked earlier. If you weren't in here, hi, hello. I had a question earlier. All right. I had a question earlier. Because something happened that's really weird and it's very unsettling to me. But I want to be extremely careful. I'm not making any allegations against anybody. But yesterday we talked about that operations manual. And there was some weird stuff in that operations manual. The triangle of trust. The triangle of trust, where the operations manual was saying to train the employees. The operations manual is not for any and every Tom, Dick, and Harry that works at a brick and a minifig. No. The operations manual was not even formally given to the franchise owners. It actually was lent to them. They had to borrow it. Like they had to check it out like it was the library. They weren't supposed to just be sharing the operations manual with anybody. And if they shared it with anybody, that was a grounds to terminate their franchise agreement. So we're reading that operations manual yesterday. And there's this part in it about if you build trust with the parent by pretty much like stroking the kid's ego, the kid will like you, then that'll build trust with the parent. It'll build the triangle of trust. And then the parent will let you be alone with the kid or whatever. There was like something like that. We talked about it yesterday. It freaked me out. I was like, why is this operations manual telling Brick and Minifigs owners how to be alone with other people's kids? And why would that even be a goal that you would want to do? Sales, sure, sales is sales, but like you should not be encouraging your store owners to purposefully be alone with other people's kids. Like that's weird to me. It's also, all of this is being done in the backdrop of Provo. I've talked about this before. I talked about Provo Canyon years ago, the school, Provo Canyon School. That's where Paris Hilton went. And the child labor camp, child prison camp, industry is booming in Utah. Like in California, they'll threaten their kids. I'm going to send you to Utah for, I'm going to send you to Utah for the camp or whatever. So like people all over the country send their kids to these Utah camps, especially famous and rich people in California, but also the Mormons send their kids there, the people around there, because Mormon culture is very, I think, is my opinion, is very well suited. The culture happens to line up and be very well suited within like the Mormon culture community. It's very well suited to sending your kids to these schools. Why? This is why. First of all, the Mormon religion encourages, and the culture of Mormon, culture over there, especially in Utah, encourages having a bunch of kids. Have a bunch of kids. More kids you have, the better. So having a large family is a big focus. Well, you have a whole bunch of kids. If you even just have one problem child, that's a big problem for everybody. Okay. Secondly, having control over them kids is very important within that culture. You have to be they have to be polite, they have to be well kept, they have to be well groomed, they have to have good manners, they have to be kind, they can't be too independent, they have to be very obedient. And if they're not, then it starts to reflect back on you. We have seen this time and again. The Ruby Frankie, Jody Hildebrandt case, she was a social media influencer. Both of them were. That was, Ruby Frankie's a great example. She had a whole bunch of kids. 8. Was it 8 kids, 6 kids? She had a bunch of kids. And when one of them would start being bad, she would inflict these horrendous and horrifying, torturous punishments on the kids. One of the kids didn't sleep on a bed for like 9 months. She would publicly humiliate them on the YouTube channel. She would be extremely strict with them. It was just horrible. And it was all when they weren't obedient. Now, she was right there in Provo. That all happened right there in the same area of the world. There are countless examples of this. There was another really high profile one, not Hildebrandt, not Frankie, but another one. It was just like that. It was a huge, situation. It was child abuse. I think maybe the dad even killed the family or something, but it's because of the pressure and the stress to have all these kids and then keep them all in line, and then also like be rich and, make money and pay the tithes and keep up appearances. And so if one of your kids is acting out, a really good way to, possibly make them stop acting out is to threaten them. I'm going to send you over there where they're going to put you in the prison camp. So that already kind of like had my attention. Like this is all happening in that area, that geographical place, that mentality. Kai, what's his name? McAllister. It looks like one of his siblings is in a guardianship and he's an adult. It's like this this need to control your kids or else they're going to embarrass you type of thing. And then we read that operations manual yesterday, and it was like some weird stuff in there about kids, these kids, this and that, and basically telling these store owners in the operations manual how to manipulate kids and sell stuff to them. So I'm just kind of like starting to get a weird feeling about all this. And that's going to bring me to my next point I'm about to show y'all. I'm just giving you the background context. Like this, what I'm about to show you isn't just happening in a vacuum. It's kind of starting to make me wonder, like, what's going on here? There's like a child endangerment, child exploitation, like abuse, like feeling. I'm kind of starting to get a tingle because Eamon McNeff recently appeared on a podcast talking about he don't see people as people, talking about he don't want a Legos vacuum because that's what little kids' hands are for. That's what kids' little hands are for, is to pick up I don't know, any of these things in and of itself, whatever. But it's just, why do you want to do a triangle of trust to make a parent trust you to leave you alone with their kids? It feels like grooming. It feels like grooming. It might not be. I'm not saying it is. Just something bothered me about it. So I'm not saying Mormon Mafia. I'm not saying the church. I'm just saying, like, some religions end up having cultures. Sat Sri Akal is a greeting in Punjabi. Even if you're not Sikh, you might just say Sat Sri Akal to somebody in the area. And you do your hands together like this. And you say Sat Sri Akal. So that is a culture. Even if someone is not Sikh themselves anymore and they're talking to another Sikh, they'll say Sat Sri Akal. So there's culture that kind of arises from a religion that isn't always necessarily just being practiced as a part of a religion, or necessarily, and it's not always even something that is necessary of the religion, but it's just kind of like, and we got a whole bunch of thousands or millions of people who practice the same religion living in a close community, then these religious and these religious practices then can kind of become cultural. And so if people move into the area, maybe they're not in the religion, but they'll do it too. So I'm not even saying like, oh, this is a Mormon church sanctioned thing. I just think like the Mormon church does encourage having, prioritizing family and having kids and all that. So, and training them upright and being responsible for how they behave and stuff. So I'm not saying, Chris Gorman's in here. Shout out to Chris Gorman. I don't see your comment, but I see somebody said hello to you. Thank you, Jim, for the 1,000 jewels. Thank you, AC, for the $5 super chat. Tattle told you it was a bird flying into the window. Thank you, Christy, for the $2. Predatory behaviors towards kids, period. Ew. Thanks so much, Ams, for the $4.99. I grew up LDS. So grateful to my parents who were the exact opposite of most of these people in the church and taught us how to be good people. Thank God. Shout out to them. Check these men's hard drives. Thank you, Christy, for the $2 super chat. Okay, so dirty soda came from Mormons. They can't have coffee. Right, dirty soda. That is a really good example. Like, people are now drinking dirty soda. The reason that they're drinking dirty soda is because Mormons can't have coffee. So they wanted to feel like they were having a coffee, so they started putting creamer and milk in their Coke. Or not Coke, caffeine free. Hello, fellow output machines. So that's why, with that in mind, I want y'all to answer my question now. Okay. I want to read some of y'all's answers here. There was a hypothetical I gave earlier. And I really want you to answer these questions because I might be overreacting. I might be severely overreacting. So I want to take a quorum here of the 1,100 people in the chat. Let's say you go on a business trip to Indonesia for some reason. You end up in Indonesia for a business trip. You're not there for vacation. You're there for a business trip. And when you're there, you somehow end up, maybe it's philanthropy for your job or something. You end up at an orphanage in Indonesia. A lot of the children at the orphanage are blind. They can't see. And you help out around the orphanage for, a day or whatever. You go back to wherever you're staying, pack your bags. It's time for you to go home eventually. You're on the plane on the way back and you're like, you know what, damn, I feel so bad for those kids. They're in a cycle of poverty and I don't know how they're going to ever get out of it. I feel so called to help those kids. I want to help those kids, specifically those kids at the orphanage in Indonesia. I want to help them. Quote, escape the cycle of poverty. I want to help those kids at that orphanage escape the cycle of poverty. The question is, what are some things that might go through your mind as ideas to help them? What, resources, what skills, what, would you just walk over there, hand them some money? How would you help them if the specific goal was to, quote, help them escape the cycle of poverty? Now, I'll just give you an example. Like my idea might be, teaching them maybe how to, like somehow bring in artisans from the local area who do like a traditional craft or something important to their culture, something important to that region, and keeping that alive. That's, one thing that comes to my mind. And then they can, and maybe help them sell it and let them keep all the profits for it, for their school, for food they might need, or for their school supplies. That's one thing, right? Because it helps to like keep their culture alive. Because a lot of people will be like, oh, let's teach them English. Like that. I mean, yeah, I guess learning English could help people somehow, but no, like teaching them a skill or teaching them like, math or, how to work, how to prompt AI. I don't know. Just, I'm like, what are the things you would think of? Okay. Education, maybe eye surgery, braille, education. I'm reading some of y'all's things there. You would take their Legos. Okay. Philip would take their Legos. Would do what Bill Gates does, y'all said. I'm getting a creepy feeling. Y'all didn't even see what happened yet. Teach them English. Teach them English. We had Italian cream soda. No, that's not. Okay, let's see. Do an analysis. Jess would do an analysis of disparities specific to the local community and provide resources that promote equity. Food. Food is a good one. Agricultural crafts. That was kind of an idea, like kind of sort of what I was thinking. Invest money in the local economy. Most effective way to help is donations. Unconditional money. Teaching them how to just live. Dental work. Dental work is a good one. Yeah. Don't let them buy a BAM franchise. Growing. Oh, agricultural skills. Excellent. Yeah. Maybe farming, agricultural skills, occupational therapy, donating supplies, maybe asking what they need, teaching skills, making sure they're enrolled in whatever. Okay. So I'm getting chills. Y'all, I'm getting chills. I'm just going to say the major part up front here on this. I started looking into Mark Comer. Please don't contact anybody mentioned here, okay? And I'm not saying anybody did anything wrong or bad. What I'm saying is I got a sick feeling when I found this information out this morning, and I can't shake it. But teach them to build AI data centers. I ain't donating to you. Make a Mr. Beast video about them and keep the profits. Y'all, I didn't say to put yourself in the position of these weird creeps. Maybe an MLM. Teach them how to do an MLM. Do not dox, target, send hate, or contact anybody mentioned. Nope, please do not. I got the brush out while my nose starts itching. All right, so we've already been over this a few times today. I'm not going over it that detailed again. But this is the web, Legally Mine. Here's Dan. Okay, we know that the old Legally Mine LLC got changed into LM Old Co. LLC same day as Part 1 came out. And it appears, from appearances, Dan disappeared. Oh, excuse me. It appeared from appearances, Legally Mine, this old one disappeared. But it really is still alive and well under LM Old Co. Okay, fine. A new Legally Mine LLC just popped out of the woodwork about 2 months ago. And it was right around the time Part 2 of Ben's Bricks and Minifigs saga came out. It was right around Part 2. A new Legally Mine was formed. From all appearances, Dan had nothing to do with it. It was connected to this company, Centra Wealth Solutions, signed by this Mark Comer guy. So I finally start looking into Mark Comer. Okay. I feel sick about to say this. I'm trying not to I'm telling y'all, I might just be overreacting, but something is gross about this. We talked about him yesterday, and it was in the context of his previous FTC complaint. There was an FTC agreement, and he was fined for what appeared to be lying to consumers. He was banned from starting any internet businesses for I think at least, maybe it was forever. He couldn't start any internet businesses. He couldn't do any franchise businesses for 10 years. It had to do with franchise. It seemed like there was some stuff with fraud or something involved. But they basically agreed to pay a few $1 million. And not be in these businesses anymore or whatever. So it's like that was just kind of the very first. That was kind of the very first tip of the iceberg looking into this guy. He's the new guy. They put basically they made it look like, this is what it looks like to me. Legally Mine LLC did a little wardrobe change. It's going to convert out to LM Oldco. Now there's a new Legally Mine LLC. Instead of putting Dan in charge as the obvious, person in charge, they now got this guy in charge. And so I was just trying to look and see, is this Mark Comer guy in some way related to the old Legally Mine? Is this just an actual coincidence? So I'm trying to figure out if there's any connection between him. Well, I'll tell you this first, and this is just normal. I mean, this is just not normal, but normal for this story. It appears as though Dave Gibb, put a 1 in the chat if you remember Afraid of Lawsuits LLC, and there was like a lawsuit between, there was a lawsuit over this company, Afraid of Lawsuits, between Ammon and Dave Gibb, and then they ended up settling out of court. Put a 1 in the chat if you remember Afraid of Lawsuits. Well, the guys whose name is on this Afraid of Lawsuits is Dave Gibb. Dave Gibb is associated, or has been in the past, with Legally Mine. And Dave Gibb, it appears, is actually the brother-in-law of Mark Comer. Okay, why am I saying that? Well, I found this in the newspaper archive. Nicole Christensen, Mark Comer to marry in Temple. Oh, here we go, LDS. Dwayne and Barbara Alamon are pleased to announce the engagement of their daughter, Nicole Marie Christensen, to Mr. Mark Richard Comer, son of Dave and Bobby Comer. Nicole is also the daughter of the late Ron Christensen. So I'm assuming he passed away when she was very young, and her mother remarried, Barbara remarried. So her dad is the late Ron Christensen, and this is an article from 1992. So when you go, and her name's Nicole, so when you go down to Dave's section, I found his marriage announcement as well. Amy Christensen to marry Dave Gibb. Amy Sue Christensen, daughter of Dwayne and Barbara Alama of Springville, and the late Ron Christensen will marry Dave Gibb. So this is the sister of Nicole. Do you follow? Put a 2 in the chat if you follow. The late Ron Christensen and Barbara got together and had some kids. Ron passed away. Barbara remarries to a guy named Alamon. But they got there's 2 daughters. Those 2 daughters get married to 2 different guys. So the sisters get married to 2 different guys, and that's Mark and Dave. They're brother-in-laws. So that gives me at least some connection. And I keep looking and I keep looking. So we already knew that this guy was in like the internet business. He was doing very early. I got to say, Mark Comer was very early on in the internet. He was very early. Like in 1995, he started a business that basically could have been Amazon. It was called iMall. And he was helping companies. Actually, you know what? Let me just give you the background. This is an article. This is 3 years before he was actually banned from being able to, do internet businesses or whatever. Provo firm that's in business to help internet merchants set up shop. This is an article from 1996. I don't know if we even had a computer in 1996 in my house. Suppose your fledgling company sells alien dog tags to UFO sighters, or rainforest peat-based absorbents to customers who want to soak up stuff they spilled. How do you market those products? Goods that are, well, let's just say it, weird. Provo-based iMall Inc. knows. It's an upstart company itself. iMall has built its 150-employee business to help it by helping purveyors of these weird things and other products set up storefronts in its mall on the internet's World Wide Web. Not all of the 700 iMall stores cater to shoppers' quests for the unusual. Covey Leadership Center has a storefront, and so does the MGM Grand Hotel. Okay, so this was not no middle of the mall thing. Like MGM Grand Hotel had a page on iMall. Legs, Leggs, I think that's the pantyhose, like stockings, nylons brand. Checker Auto Parts, and Big Dog Sportswear. They all had pages on this iMall. That's the beauty of the setup, says Craig Pickering, iMall president and chairman. So Craig Pickering also got in a lot of trouble. He had to also pay, along with Mark Comer, millions of dollars. Now, Mark Comer is the new guy in charge of Legally Mine LLC, and he's afraid of lawsuits, his brother-in-law, okay? Pickering got in trouble too. They had to pay like $4 million or so. The internet creates a way for anybody with big dreams to become an entrepreneur and be successful, he says. Now, they would eventually get shut down, this iMall thing. Like, they would no longer be able to do this. So something they were doing within this business ended up being such a big problem that the Federal Trade Commission had to get involved and shut them down and fine them millions of dollars. Okay, so William Bluestein, group director of Forrester's New Media Research, estimates online commerce. Y'all, this is in 1996. This was 30 years ago. This article's from 30 years ago. William Bluestein, who's the group director of Forrester's New Media Research, estimates online commerce will generate $518 million in sales this year and grow to about $6 billion in sales by the year 2000. The merchants we interviewed are seeing modest, consistent advances in consumer interest and revenues, said Bluestein, or Stein. I think it's Steen. Growth in this market is slow but steady. Pickering, right, this is Mark Comer's business partner, says he and his partner, another different partner, Richard Rosenblatt, started iMall just more than a year ago with a plan to simply host internet training seminars. So this Mark Comer has been in the internet. He has been, y'all, I don't even think videos would play online in 1996. They were so early on. They were trying to use, Mark Comer was trying to use the internet to have training seminars. It says Pickering, more than a year ago with a plan. It looks like Mark wasn't actually involved as an owner, at least at this point. It was Pickering and Rosenblatt. Their plan was to simply host internet training seminars for business executives. The mall concept evolved as those attending their workshops sought help developing and maintaining websites. Oh boy. Doesn't Bricks and Minifigs help franchisees develop and maintain websites and then like require to be able to log into it all the time? Okay, anyway, so they started out by like holding these online training seminars for people like, okay, hey, MGM, you want to have a storefront and y'all don't know how the internet or the computer works yet. So let me teach y'all. And then while they're there, they're like, oh, how do we set up a website? And they're like, you know what? We're going to set up the website. We're going to host it for you. And that was the business. The mall concept evolved after, as those attending the workshops sought help developing and maintaining websites. Many also were struggling to gain a maximum exposure for their sites. iMall now holds workshops where, for $3,000, they train attendees to be internet consultants and sell them iMall home pages that they can then resell to merchants for a profit. Now, the Federal Trade Commission ended up determining that this was a franchise. This was a franchise. He was doing franchise stuff. But this is giving like, I'm not going to say RICO, but I do remember there being a RICO filed that's still apparently going back and forth today about kind of similar things where it's like you get this flyer in the mail, you show up to a summit, they preach and they teach. They tell you all this stuff you need to be afraid of. They tell you all this stuff that you could be making all this money if you only pay this dollars and that dollars. And then once you're there, then, oh, guess what? You can't afford it today. We also have the financing here. Oh, you can't afford to list it. We have the people who can list it here. So it's kind of just like a 360 once you get the people in the door. It was a tech pyramid scheme. Lots of businesses were bilked into buying kiosks, somebody said. So for $3,000, they would train the consultants and then sell them iMall homepages that they then could resell to merchants for a profit. iMall employees then design each merchant homepage and charge a monthly fee. And this is in 1996, ranging from $60 to $5,000 to maintain it. Merchants are also obligated to contribute to tithe, basically. They have to tithe back to iMall 10% for the legs, pantyhose. This way, everybody's making money and sharing in the profits, says Tracy Scott, iMall CEO. The company quickly has become one of the largest malls. Its 700 storefronts compare to an average of 18 stores per mall. What? So they were selling store fronts and then people could have stores within it? What in the Minecraft hell? iMall received nearly 7 million hits in September 1996. Scott says iMall is redesigning its website with plans to unveil a new look in January, and the company also anticipates gaining a NASDAQ listing for its stock. Currently traded on the OTC bulletin board, iMall has posted profits since its inception. Pickering says, okay, so look at this. Tracy Scott, iMall CEO on the left, chats with chairman Craig Pickering as senior vice president Mark Comer stands, looks on at the company's Provo headquarters. Okay, so this is what Mark Comer was. Now he's Mr. Legally Mine, okay? Moving from Provo to California. Now, 2 years later, they would get in so much trouble they would have to pay millions of dollars. So that leads me to start looking into Mr. Mark Comer. Okay, this is the new Legally Mine. He's also Afraid of Lawsuits LLC's brother-in-law, from what I was able to tell. I mean, unless there's a plethora of Mark Comers and Dave Gibbs. I mean, this guy is a Mormon, an LDS. He went on his mission, 1988. Mark Comer. This one, I don't know. Is it the same Mark Comer? Different Mark Comer? Looks like the same guy to me. This is him. This is him. Springville, Utah. Return home after serving LDS mission in Chile. His homecoming was in 1988. He went to the seminary, 1984. Okay. So I start looking into this guy, right? I end up finding out, I mean, there's some weird stuff. There's just some weird stuff. Like he was a biker, you know, all this stuff. But this right here is what I really want to draw your attention to. This article I came across from 2009. It says Mark Comer talks with children in Indonesia. His 5-star legacy foundation helps children around the world with a special emphasis in Indonesia. You see Mark Comer there. You see some presumably Indonesian children here. And then these 2 little blonde kids. I'm assuming that's probably Mark's kids. Maybe it's Indonesian orphans though, girl. I don't know. And the title of the article is Nonprofit Founder Uses Skills to Make a Difference in the Lives of Indonesian Children. Okay, well that sounds great. That actually sounds so sweet and nice. Thank God somebody has been doing some philanthropy, some philanthropic work. I mean, we've been looking into these people for quite some time. It doesn't look like they really be doing too much philanthropy, the McNeffs. So maybe this guy is doing something good. Let's read what he had going on. This is 2009. Nonprofit founder uses skills to make a difference in lives of Indonesian children. This article is from October 1st, 2009 in the Daily Herald. Alpine resident Mark Comer loves motorcycles, especially Harleys. As a teenager, he delivered newspapers to earn money to buy a motorcycle. He said it was his first real job. Quote, Dad said if I got the job, I had to work at it for 1 year. And a few days into it, riding my bike with 52 papers up a hill, I asked myself what I was doing. But Mark Comer kept the paper route for precisely 1 year and bought his first motorcycle. The work ethic he learned from his father has guided him his entire life. We always had hours of work at home, he said. When I was 12, we built a house. At the end of the summer, we got a check and went to buy school clothes with it. He started more than 50 businesses and travels to Asia and South America regularly. And he plays in a rock band. But his real passion is making a difference in the lives of Indonesian children. Through his nonprofit 5-Star Legacy Foundation, Comer provides supplies and scholarships to schools and orphanages in Asia and South America. He started the foundation after visiting an orphanage in Indonesia while on a business trip. This is a quote. Quote, I rode there on a Harley with a police escort on a sunny Sunday afternoon, feeling pretty good about myself. At the orphanage, I started shaking hands and noticed All the children were blind. They were playing rock and roll music, happy, excited, and grateful. It woke me up. I had a lot of time to think on the flight home, and I thought, I've got to do something. Comer established his foundation and began visiting schools and orphanages on every business trip. He set a goal to help with their knowledge base. Okay, so his goal was to help with their knowledge base. Knowledge of what? You can have knowledge of anything. If the house next door catches on fire and an orphanage child had never seen a fire, now they have knowledge of a fire, right? If there's an explosion across the street, now they have knowledge of an explosion. So I don't really know what this means, help with their knowledge base. This is a quote from Mark Comer. Quote, education is the only thing that will allow the children to break the cycle of poverty. Okay, I agree. Education is the only thing that will help break cycles of poverty. That's true. Or a miracle, I guess. Comer's own education came from his experiences as a serial entrepreneur, they put that in quotes, starting businesses that were both fantastic failures and tremendous successes. Now remember, this is 10 years after he's been sanctioned by the FTC or whatever and had to pay like millions of dollars with Pickering for that I-mall. And he wasn't allowed to do franchises or internet businesses for years and years after that. This is 10 years later. His own education come from being a serial entrepreneur. The son of a college professor, Comer dropped out of college because he didn't like school. At the age of 32, he sold an internet company he had developed and was able to retire at 32 years old. So he's going on business trips for what? If he's retired. About 12 seconds later, I was bored out of my mind. I took a couple hobbies, music, motorcycles, and turned them into jobs after he retired. He took his hobbies and turned them into jobs. Comer had a custom motorcycle shop and performed rock concerts in Mexico and South America, singing and playing guitar. I wasn't super passionate about it, so I decided to get back into things that got my blood pumping. What gets Mark Comer's blood pumping? He returned to the business world and eventually ended up delivering motivational speeches in Asia. Foundation Director Stuart Anstead accompanied Comer to Indonesia last February. Anstead said he was overwhelmed to see thousands of people listening to every word and singing along with the rock band. Comer is a business guru, he said. People very much value his opinion in business and life skills. The foundation is also involved with projects closer to home, such as delivering clothing to the Navajo Nation every December. The second annual Leave a Legacy golf tournament, which was held at the Alpine Country Club on August 6, 2009, raised funds to assist with projects worldwide. Comer said he loves making a difference, and he doesn't consider his long hours as work. Here's a quote. Quote, "We are helping one orphanage, okay, not school. We are helping one orphanage. This means these kids don't have parents or they might have parents. They've been taken away from the parent, whatever the case may be. They don't live with their parents. The children have been institutionalized, very much so like in Provo Canyon, very much so like in these child prison camps where the children are taken away from their families. Maybe when I hear orphanage, usually I think, oh, the parents are dead or something. But I've learned recently, like in the last 5 years or so, actually, that a lot of these kids in these orphanages their parents aren't dead. Their parents are fine. Like their parents want their kids back, but they won't give them back. And there's like this whole like adoption trafficking racket. So sometimes kids in the orphanage really, they need to be in the orphanage because then nobody will take them in. They don't have a family. The family's dead or whatever. That's not always the case. I just want to be very clear about that. Right. Rose Investigates. Great point. We were talking about, thank you for the $2 super chat. We were talking about the au pairs the other day. He did those business trips for Expensive Speeches, LLC. Wee woo, wee woo, wee woo, wee woo, wee woo, wee woo. Please no lewd comments, y'all. This type of thing, talking about this type of thing, by the way, specifically, very much so triggers the you know what. So anything having to do with people who perhaps at this point in time, LMNOP, XYZ, have not perhaps reached the age where they could sign contracts, anything having to do with that group of people who maybe can't vote yet and stuff like that, the you know what really goes hard. So don't be careful what you're saying over there in the thing, if you know what I mean. Okay. We are helping, this is Mark Comer, quote, we are helping one orphanage to build a massage therapy school so the students can earn money and sustain themselves. Students get training, then give back to the school when they are working. We have a wish list for that school. I'm just going to let y'all sit on that for a minute, or for a moment. What y'all thinking on that? What are y'all thinking on that? Anybody want to tell me how long you would have to sit on a plane with your own thoughts before you would have decided that the way to help these kids escape poverty, these blind kids escape poverty? How long would you have to think? How many times would you have had to give an answer and somebody say, no, not that, before you arrived at Orphanage Massage Therapy School? For me, it would be eternity. I would never, ever think that. If you want to escape the cycle of poverty, I mean, like, Bali is in Indonesia, by the way. There's like other sort of like South Asian countries, like Cambodia, Indonesia. There's these places where other Asian countries that maybe have a little bit more money, or possibly even Middle Eastern countries, they will literally import, or people from Indonesia, people from Bali, people from Cambodia to be domestic workers. They'll take away, this happens in India, this happens in Dubai, this happens all over the place, and they'll take away their passports. It's basically hurting. So to me, that's a cycle of poverty. So continuing to only train people who are already exploited and already vulnerable as a population, who are already exploited for being like, to be like domestic workers and laborers, like the very last thing that I would think would help them escape poverty would be like, oh yeah, let's like keep training them to be a, massage therapist so that they can be exploited and shipped off to the Trump resort in whatever, not wherever. How is learning how to do a massage going to help them escape poverty? Now, yeah, it's a job, and we need massage therapists. I think it's one of the most important jobs there is, because like people who can really like identify what the problem is in a body, we need a lot more people that could do that. But like, you went to the orphanage and you felt sorry for the blind kids, and your solution was to have them train. Who are they training on? When he's going on, I just keep thinking of two different things in my mind at the same time. Mark goes on business trips now to Indonesia all the time, according to this article in 2009. And the kids are doing massages and need to be trained. So what's blind? It's like, when you start reading this article, nonprofit founder uses skills to make a difference in lives of Indonesian children. It's like, what kind of a difference is he making in their lives? What kind of difference is he making in the lives of this Navajo Nation children? Another very vulnerable and often exploited group. Shout out to my cousins in the Navajo Nation. I'm going to read that part again. Comer, the new Legally Mine guy, Legally Mine LLC guy, yeah, him. Also, a brother-in-law to Afraid of Lawsuits, Dave Gibb, from what I was able to find from the newspaper archives. Maybe it's the wrong Mark Comer. Looks like the same one to me. The foundation is involved with projects closer to home, too, such as delivering clothing to the Navajo Nation every December. The second annual Leave a Legacy golf tournament, which was held at the Alpine Country Club on August 6th, raised funds to assist with projects worldwide. So the rich people went over there, the rich Mormons went over there and did their golf tournament thinking that their money was going to go help an orphanage. Guess what the money was going to? Establishing the orphans to massage people. Comer said he loves making a difference and doesn't consider his long hours as work. We are helping. I love when they start talking about help. We are helping one orphanage to build a massage therapy school so the students can earn money and sustain themselves. Students get training. But what, you get training so they have to touch naked adults? What do you mean get training? What does it mean to be trained in massage therapy? We are helping them. Students get training and then give back to the school when they are working. We have a wish list for that school. Do the students start working at the school massage clinic? Get the money to sustain themselves, but then the school keeps it? Is this slavery? Is this child trafficking? I don't know. I got questions. Definitely got questions. Who are they training on? Who are they training on? This is a hell of a lot worse with his FBI history. Different person. This is Mark Comer, not Art McComer. Different person. Different person. Who even decided to publish this article? They got to tell us what they're doing. That's one of the rules. They have to. Children massage school. I wonder why he didn't set up this children massage school in the United States of America. They got orphanages here, you know. Is the wish list which student you want? Who would even think? Who would even have this idea? Oh, we're going to help them by letting the kids do massages and training them. Who are they going to be training on, Mark? They did a whole Leave a Legacy golf tournament at a freaking country club to make a massage parlor? Orphanage? Comer wrote a book about his experiences entitled Discoveries of an Accidental Guru. His book delivers a message of hope. He's a regular guy. If he could do it, so can I. Comer said that anyone can have a positive impact on the lives of others. The key is just to take action, he said. You don't have to travel. There's a lot of need in your own backyard, and that raises the question, why does Mark have to travel then? Why he didn't address the need in his own backyard. He wanted to start a massage school in Indonesia at the orphanage. Look at that. Look at these students. Talks with children in Indonesia. His 5-star legacy foundation helps children around the world. Special emphasis on Indonesia. That's not where he did his mission. He did it in Chile. What's going on here? He's bringing little toy trinkets like, oh, yay, Mark. Thanks, Uncle Mark. I want the sheep toy. They're all gathered around. He's got his legs up. I mean, that's a lot of touching. Now, I found another article about his 5-star legacy thing right here. And this is from about 8 days later. Okay. So this whole fluff piece, oh, look how much he's helping. Massage parlor for children. Or work with children employees. Or trainees, excuse me. It's 9 days later, 8 days later. Emergency relief. 5-Star Legacy Foundation and Synergy Worldwide are conducting an emergency relief fundraising project to aid people in the decimated areas of Taiwan, Samoa, Indonesia, and the Philippines due to recent natural disasters. Remember when there was like a tsunami or something over there? It's like huge storms and waves and swells. I mean, there really was. It was a need for emergency relief. People wanted to give and help. Dan Norman, president of Synergy Worldwide, and Mark Comer, founder of 5-Star Legacy Foundation, announced the joint effort today. So they get the fluff piece out, and 8 days later, then they do an emergency relief fund. Okay, Norman, the guy from Synergy Worldwide, said the sheer scope of these disasters is unbelievable. Whatever people can spare to donate toward this effort will go a long way in providing this badly needed support. Through these money-based donations, the Emergency Relief Fund will provide for basic necessities in each disaster area, which includes drinking water, rice, simple clothing items, blankets, personal care items, candles and matches, flashlights, and cash. Cha-ching, 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 support. Cash support. The contacts we already established in these countries, according to Mark Comer, are primed and ready to administer the distribution of the donated money. 100% of all money will go to aid the life-saving and cleanup efforts in each of these countries. Even small donations, when everyone can come together and help, goes a long way to give aid, support, and comfort. You know what's really comforting? A massage. You see how like a massage school could have just been funded by this emergency relief, a massage parlor in an orphanage? Something about there being a massage parlor in an orphanage just don't sit right with me, especially when they're going to be training in the orphanage. Something don't sit right about it with me. Thanks so much to Sugar Declipsy, Sugar Declips Nails for the 30 jewels. Flower. Thank you to MJ for the 2 jewels. Thank you to Sissel Hansen for becoming a member. Thank you to Rose for the $2 super chat. They done gone and pissed us all off now. Good job. Yeah, no, and this is the same thing. Like, I'm feeling the same way about this as the, like, Reed Brimhall. Like, I feel like they're trying to do a bait and switch where it's like, oh, no, Dan's not legally mine. It's this guy, serial entrepreneur, Mark Comer. And you look at him, he's worse than Dan. Over there with the BAM. Oh, what if we put Reed? You know, that's what it kind of seemed like it was gearing up to do. To me, it seemed like they were trying to put Reed Brimhall as the one that's going to take over. No, he sucks too. He got problems too. These people all know each other. They family members with each other. They brother and sister-in-laws with each other. They each other's, parents as aunts and uncles. And no, they're all in on it. This guy got banned by the FTC for years for even practicing in the whole internet. I mean, or not practicing, working, whatever it was. Y'all heard me read it yesterday. If you want to know that lawsuit, you can go watch it yesterday's. Thanks so much to Rose, Little St. James, for the $2 super chat. I mean, sounds like Legal Mindset. Thank you, Homer, for the $1.99. Sounds like Legal Mindset in his Go East channel. Never heard of that. I barely ever heard of Legal Mindset. Only, like, see his stuff pop up when he's talking about, like, the Ethan Klein stuff. Thanks so much to Jay Wells for the 750 jewels. Let him cook. I mean, look, I'm not saying anybody did anything wrong. I'm not saying anybody did anything wrong or illegal at all. I'm not accusing anybody of any crimes or anything like that. But something to me, like, just I'm looking, at these, like, little kids. Like, okay, like, how do you go here? How do you go here? This is what I want to know. How do you go here and see this? You're looking at, this student or orphanage border. I don't know what the appropriate term, and I don't want to call somebody an orphan, but like these are the kids from the orphanage, I guess. You go there, you see this age child, this age child, this age child, and you say, I have an idea how to help them. They can massage people. Who who would think that? Who would think, I know how I could help them. They could earn their own way in life by massaging paying adults. I got here late. How is this related to BAM? Okay, this is how. Remember Legally Mine was like a partial owner, or like they had like stakeholding in BAM. You remember Legally Mine is a company that Matt and AMN co-owned with their dad, Daniel McNeff. Remember that, Heather? So also, do you remember when Legally Mine got a name change on the same day that part 1 of Reckless Ben came out? The same day it turned into LM Oldco, and then 8 days later, brand new Legally Mine LLC was started. Well, the brand new Legally Mine LLC has this guy's name all over it, Mark Comer. So I start looking into Mark Comer. Mark Comer is the owner, or was, I don't know, I haven't looked at the business records for this yet, but he had this nonprofit called 5 Star Legacy. What was it called? 5 Star Legacy Foundation. And as part of this 5 Star Legacy Foundation, he was funding, using nonprofit money to fund and pay for a massage therapy school to open at an orphanage. So kids that look like this could train to become massage therapists, and they could work and earn money for themselves. And then once they start working, they could give money back to the school. So what in the indentured servant slavery, child labor abuse hell is this? Again, I'm not saying he did anything wrong. I'm just not getting a good feeling about it. Now, he's also seemingly related to the whole BAM saga because of this guy, Dave Gibb. Do you remember Dave Gibb, Afraid of Lawsuits, LLC? He got into a lawsuit over Afraid of Lawsuits, LLC, with none other than Ammon McNeff. They fought over the credit card processor company and all that, Dave Gibb. Well, Dave Gibb's wife is sisters with Mark Comer's wife. So Mark Comer and Afraid of Lawsuits are brother-in-laws. So it looks like, oh, look, a brand new guy has nothing to do with Dan McNeff, nothing to do with any of these people. It just happens to be Legally Mine LLC, Mark Comer. Brand new Legally Mine LLC, we got a new one. It's not Dan, it's this guy. Well, this guy is brother-in-laws with Dave Gibb, who works at Legally Mine still, or, you know, this company. It's just a changing of the guards from what I could tell. And then I start looking into this guy, and he's weird. He's weird. He wanted to help Indonesian kids by having them massage people. I'm sorry, that's weird. That's freaking weird. And guess what? That led me to start thinking, you know, well, let me see. I have some very serious apprehensions about whose freaking mind is even set up in the way where they're like, oh, I know how I'm going to help these kids. It's not going to be teaching. I mean, even teaching them damn English wouldn't be as offensive. So that led me to start looking into some other things. Now, I'll be very clear. I'll be very, very clear. Hold on. What I'm about to pull up and show y'all is nothing to do with Mark. Nothing to do with Mark. It's not related to Mark at all. But it was one of the things that I found when I started to do research, because I started to have these kind of like, you know, bad thoughts, scary thoughts about, well, you know, this doesn't look, perhaps, maybe, is this totally not innocent? Basically, I wanted to know, what are the protections in place for kids? Specifically, you know, orphanage kids in Indonesia, for example. Now, remember, Bali is in Indonesia. Remember that. So I found this article. Again, I'm not saying this has anything to do with Mark. I'm not saying Mark is involved in this at all. Actually, I think he's probably not. But this is just something that happened, and this is public. For example, Wiley Online Library, child blank tourism, ambiguous spaces in Bali. The phenomenon of CST, child blank tourism, is intensified. This article is from 2022. is intensified by the increased mobility of people worldwide. Current approaches to fight this type of tourism, they're calling it tourism here, and I'm going to call it tourism. I think it's abhorrent to call it that, but for the purposes of where we are and trying not to, you know what, I'm going to call it tourism, but that's what they're called. Like when adults fly to countries to have certain types of relations. I'm poking a nest that breaks people, but I ain't people. I ain't people. I'm protected by the one true God. I'm divinely protected. 1,000 may fall at my side, 10,000 at my right hand, but it will not come near me. I will only observe with my eyes and see the punishment of the wicked. 1,000 may fall at my side, 10,000 at my right hand, and it will not come near me. The phenomenon of child tourism is intensified by the increased mobility of people worldwide. So people can travel more now. Current approaches to fight this predominantly focus on enforcing legislation and disrupting the cycle of demand and supply, yet those have not been effective. This paper highlights the enabling properties of CST tourism spaces in Bali and takes a new approach by focusing on the ambiguity of place, authority, structures, and actors. The analysis identifies 4 CST places, which are where? What are the places where children are abused the most? Private homes, in Bali specifically. Private homes, brothels, spa, massage parlors, and orphanages. These enable the persistence of this type of tourism. Understanding the socio-spatial properties of risk locations is key to disrupting and fighting CST more effectively. Millions of children are exploited worldwide in the tourism industry for commercial purposes. In the literature, little attention has been given to the spatial dimensions of child blank tourism. Theorization and empirical evidence of spatial properties will aid in better understanding. For the purposes of this study, they define this stuff. It's considered illegal. Laws are not doing a good job to fight it. Where are the places where this type of abuse against children happens the most? By these foreign people traveling to abuse the children and traveling to Bali to abuse the children. Where are the places where it happens the most? Private homes, brothels, spa, massage parlors, and orphanages. Well, guess what? He's trying to put the spa massage parlor at the orphanage. Isn't that interesting? So that type of abuse does happen. It does happen. I'm not saying anybody's name said did it particularly. But that article that we read, the fluff piece, that was from October 1st, 2009. And then remember October 9th, 2009, they put out the emergency relief fund thing. Well, only a month later, 1 month later, same year, the New York Times put this article out. Hold on, I gotta hide somebody who's disgusting on this channel. Ew. Somebody just said on my channel, 16 and 35 is an acceptable age gap as long as they're of the age of consent. No, you at the wrong spot, buddy boy. Bye. Ew. Yuck. Indonesian child workers abused, rights group finds Jakarta. No, I do not want the freaking family plan. Let me turn this on. This came out the next month after that Indonesian orphanage massage parlor article with the Mark Comer. Indonesian child workers abused and their human rights group finds. A specific Indonesian domestic servant, that's what they calling it in the article from 2009, not me, girl, Wani, tells Human Rights Watch in a new report that when she was 13 years old, her female employer would pin her up against the wall and blank, blank, blank and call her names. Okay, I'm not going to read this. Another girl, 15, recounted stories of her employer's husband walking around the house with no clothes on, when they were alone together, asking if she would like to see his blank. A 17-year-old said she had been blank. This is in Indonesia, by the way. Child workers. Children who are being forced to work. Maybe to pay for schools, maybe to pay for other stuff. Such stories are not uncommon among the hundreds and hundreds of thousands of child domestic workers in Indonesia. The International Labor Organization found that 690,000 children under 18 were employed as domestic help. They were often forced to work up to 18 hours a day, and they would earn as little as 6 cents an hour. No days off, no vacations. Almost 700,000 kids. In the worst cases, the children were, you can read the rest. The report chastises the Indonesian government, which has recently begun lobbying for better working conditions for Indonesian domestic workers in other countries, but not taking care of the ones at home. The legal employment age in Indonesia is 15, but many domestic workers start as early as 11. In a letter to the Human Rights Watch, the governor of Jakarta, Fauzi Bowo, admitted that although labor organizations did inspections at commercial places of work and factories, there's no inspections at homes. Employers often purposely hire underage workers because they're not subject to the same laws as adults. They can work longer hours for less pay, and they have fewer social connections to distract them. Adult workers in the Indonesian formal sector are entitled to minimum wage, overtime, and an 8-hour workday, 40-hour work week, a weekly day of rest and vacation, but domestic workers are not entitled to these things. And the kids are entitled to even less. Okay, so this article is not about orphanages or massage parlors, but it is about child labor in Indonesia. And it came out 1 month after that fluff piece about the orphanage massage parlor with Mark Comer. Okay. Another article from that same year. PDF-philia, a quote, real threat for Balinese. A local expert on abuses targeting children and minors has warned the Bali people to be more vigilant against the rising threat of PDF files. Okay, so this was the same year. This is before the article about the orphanage massage school. This is in July 2009. A local expert on abuses targeting children and minors has warned the Bali people to be more vigilant against the rising threat of PDF files. In several cases, even the victims of these shameful and intolerable acts are not even aware they've been victimized. The practice of PDF file has existed on this island for a long time, but unfortunately a large number of people are not aware of the practices. Such a low level of awareness has made it possible for international PDF file networks to operate on the island without facing any major hindrance. This professor of psychiatry at this university has been assisting the victims. The majority of the victims are children under the age of 13. Most of the perpetrators are foreign adult men. CASA has estimated that as many as 3,000 children, this is the same year, this 2009, 3,000 children have fallen prey to PDF files in Bali. In Kuta, there are children who sell souvenirs during the day, and they are hired by adult males during the night. They are known to target children working as street vendors in tourist areas. The PDF files have the ability to manipulate not only their victims, but also the families of the victims. At a glance, they look like a group of decent people who truly care about the plight of the local children. At a glance, they look like a group of decent people who care about the plight of these children. Public awareness is a critical factor in fighting this. And this is one of the reasons I'm making this video. Because I don't know what anything has to do with anything, but I have stumbled across an epidemic A pandemic, but it might be epidemic at this point of things that are unspeakable happening. So I wanted to raise awareness to y'all. Sometimes people can look like they're doing something good and decent, but really what they're trying to do is, you know what? Something not good and not decent. I'll say that. Public awareness is critical in fighting this, particularly since the majority of these PDF files are intelligent with strong financial resources. Since its establishment in 2002, CASA has handled a total of 80 cases, out of which 30 have been resolved. The low level of public awareness is reflected in the number of PDF file cases reported by the public. As yet, the cases have never been solved. Some of the cases have never been solved, and the whereabouts of the children are still unknown. The kids are going missing. In 1996, as many as 160 children were sent abroad from Indonesia. We suspect these children have fallen prey to PDF files. This is in 2009. The publication of their book that they're talking about in this article is part of their campaign to increase public awareness of PDF file Elia. The 58-page book was co-published by CASA. I found another article from a few years later. This one's from 2016, so this is from 10 years ago. Child exploitation uncovered at a Bali spa. Girls 13 to 15 years old were working nonstop. Indonesian National Police have made an unsettling discovery of child exploitation at a spa in Bali. Police had received a tip-off about you-know-what at the spa. According to head of Sub 3 Directory, Criminal Agency, this, that, the other. As many as 12 girls between 13 and 15 years old were employed as massage therapists at the spa. During the operation, they found 12 of them working as therapists at the spa, and they are from these places in Indonesia. The victims are being rehabilitated at the Social Services Department. The victims will act as witnesses in this case. The police are looking for additional evidence. Under Indonesian child protection law, the 3 perps could get a minimum sentence of 5 years. Under the human trafficking law, a minimum of 3. But the minimum is not enough. We do not want the judges to sentence these perpetrators to 3 years in prison. They were lured to work at the spa with salaries of 20 million, I guess, rupees per month. I don't know what RP is. And a bonus of 100,000 per therapy, but the children never saw such lucrative cash. For their illegal labor, they got $6 million a month with a bonus of 10K per therapy. They were forced to work 24 hours a day and were not allowed to leave. Police believe the suspects were working independently and not as part of a syndicate. So it's happening in these spas. So they're training these orphanage kids to be spa workers. And that's what I was saying at the beginning. I'm like, that is already a group of very vulnerable people who are already targeted and ficked in Indonesia already. You're pushing them into that industry. You're pushing them into it. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being a massage therapist. Duh, obviously. But you're trying to help the children escape poverty by putting them into a job that they already could have got, but you're doing it early. And child labor is illegal. Under 15, they can't even supposed to be working. They ain't supposed to be working. But I guess if it's an orphanage where the parents can't come check on them, then it's okay, Mark Comer? What? Rupiah? I found it interesting. The majority of the victims are children under 13, while most of the perpetrators are foreign adult men. So then I start looking up like therapy, orphanage, massage therapy, like, because I'm trying to figure out which exact orphanage it was at this point. And I haven't found it yet, but I did find this. Good Karma, Ayana Resort and Spa in Bali and Community Outreach. They spotlighted this thing, and then I'm just going to go spafinder.com. This month they were spotlighting, this is from 2012, spotlighting a beautiful resort and spa in Indonesia for its immersion in community outreach through philanthropic efforts and programs that benefit the local people on an ongoing basis, ranging from job training like they were doing at the orphanage, and education to orphanage involvement and house building. What in the hell is the spa? Think about this, y'all. I do think it's very good and great to help orphanages. I really do. I think it's very good and great to help them. I think it's very good and great to make sure they have the things they need and all that. I do. I really do. I'm not trying to admonish or criticize anybody that's trying to help the orphanages. I'm really not. But why is it that this spa would want to provide job training to kids at an orphanage? Just think real hard, real quick. You don't even really probably have to think that hard. Why would the specific, that's philanthropy. You could donate your philanthropy hours and money to anything, right? They could do coast cleanup. They could do environmental work. Why is it specifically, do you think, that this spa wants to do for its philanthropy, training orphans how to massage? Just think about it. The luxury resort and spa in Bali, luxury, the luxury resort and spa is set in traditional Balinese compounds with private pools, most recently partnered with ROLE Foundation, an organization with a vision of sustainable future for islands, oceans. Okay, that's great. That's fine. But what about this right here? Job training and education for orphanage involvement and house building. They have provided I'll have to keep from crying. Ayana and ROLE have provided 12 underprivileged Indonesian women with 3 months of real on-the-job training in either food and beverage, culinary, or spa therapy programs. These women, previously with little hope of a hospitality career, with the help of ROLE, Daring to Dream, 10 of them have completed the program, 5 from F&B, 5 from culinary, and officially graduated, celebrating their trainer's private lunch at Ayana, where they received certificates and gifts. They got gifts for finishing. The other 2 women are training to be spa therapists. They will continue training through the month of October, and they are offering 30-minute ROLE model massage services to the spa guests for a $100,000 donation, or 100,000 rupiah donation, which will raise further funds for the training program. So they have to massage people for free. The resort keeps the rupiah, the money, and then goes train more people who then can come and massage for free. And all of that, a bunch of y'all have already kind of said it, really reminded me of a certain other island child massage perpetrator named Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah, him. Reminded me of him. So I found some links from the Epstein files I want to show y'all. Now, I'll be very clear. None of this stuff that I'm about to show y'all is Mark Comer. All right. It's just that this is just my research that I did in like how these children could possibly be being treated in Indonesia in general. I'm not saying I did search. Oh, yes, I searched Mark Comer in the Epstein files. He ain't in there. And I also searched hold on. I also searched 5-Star Legacy Foundation. That's not in there either. So he's not in there, as far as I could tell. But when I was looking up, like, that same search I just told y'all about, like the massage, therapy, training, orphanage, Indonesia, I did find one Instagram post. First, before we get to the Epstein files, I want to show y'all this one other thing. And this is the AI overview. Massage therapy programs in Indonesian orphanages primarily involve trauma relief initiatives or vocational training partnerships where the local spa groups and charities support disadvantaged youth. And then I guess you could do a spa finder where you can find a spa that has these youths doing massages at it. Like, I didn't search for that, right? I was just trying to see if I could find the school to see if I could connect it to Comer, see if I could search that in the newspaper archives. So the context in the programs are post-disaster and crisis interventions, historically utilized therapeutic touch and acupressure to help the kids. So it's like massage on the kids. which I also still don't know if you need to be massaging kids just for therapy unless they're like actually physically needing that, like because they're hurt or they got a fracture or like something needs to be put back in place or something. But anyway, also, this second one, vocational pathways. Organizations and foundations in regions like Bali connect underprivileged or orphaned young adults with certified training in traditional Indonesian and blind massage therapy. Blind. Remember the kids at the school were blind? Many of them were blind. So I'm like, oh shit, I got to go to that Instagram account. It's called Sinta Bali Charity or something. Blind massage therapy. Okay, that's pretty specific, and it's in Indonesia. So I'm like, yeah, I want to go to that Instagram account. So I'm going to pull that up. Why would they need to go through Epstein? Looks like they had their own thing going on. Number one, they wouldn't need to go through Epstein. Number two, I'm not saying they had their own thing going on. Number three, birds of a feather flock together. Bali is not very big. This is that Sinta Bali Charities. Why am I showing you this? Again, because organizations and foundations in regions like Bali connect underprivileged or orphaned young adults with certified training in traditional Indonesian and blind massage. Now, this says orphaned young adults. So I don't know if that means, I mean, that does not look like a young adult. That looks like a child. Okay. But I guess this is a charity that does a bunch of different stuff. I guess they do a bunch of different stuff. But this is the charity that, again, had that thing up with the like, let me see if I can. That provides training in traditional Indonesian and blind massage therapy. So I'm just like looking here at this Instagram account, like what is the blind massage? I'm just scrolling, right? I'm just scrolling for the blind massage therapy. Spoiler alert, I never did find it, but I did see this, and I don't know, it just something ain't right about it. I don't like it. Something feels weird about this to me. A day full of smiles, laughter, and unforgettable memories. Our Sunday fun day. What day of the week was it? What day of the week was it that Mark said he got a police escort over to the orphanage when he went to that orphanage? What day of the week? Sunday. Sunny Sunday afternoon, he said. Sunday fun day. At Bali Zoo with 28 wonderful children. Filled with joy from Cornelia El Shaddai. Was filled with joy, learning and adventure. A heartfelt thank you to Bapak Dominic Shapko for joining us. And making this special day even more meaningful. Your kindness brings so much happiness to these amazing children. Every smile reminds us why we do what we do. What is going on here? Like, you go to Bali to help the children out and you bring them to the zoo? What? I mean, it looks fun. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's fun, but like, don't they need food? Don't they need... Why is the white man there with his wife? It's just weird to me. Okay, so let's get to some of these like Epstein related things. I just started searching certain code. Not code. Oh. Hold on. This is why I showed y'all this in the first place. Hold on. Speaking of Epstein. What is going on? Bali Zoo. That's the thing, we just saw that. They seem to go to the zoo a lot. I mean, it looks fun. Who doesn't love the zoo? But, They be having the pizza parties too, girl, I guess. This is the pizza time. I'm just letting y'all see what it is. This is the pizza party. Now, again, I'm not saying this has anything to do with Mark. I have no way to know if this has anything to do with Mark. I was just looking up, like, blind orphan, massage therapy school, orphanage, Bali, orphanage, Indonesia. Like, I was trying to see if I could find more about Comer. And I just came across this one school that does apparently offer blind massage therapy. And this video right here reminded me of this one right here. Reminded me of when Christian Combs was like having all Diddy's other like little girls like tell their zodiac signs and stuff. I'm not saying they're doing anything wrong. It just in this actual in this actual video, it looks cute, it looks sweet. I'm glad they're having a little pizza party. That's cute. But it just something about it just didn't sit right with me. I don't know. Like, it is a lot of coincidences and stuff. The trust triangle, and you know what the triangle is the symbol of, right? Like in the FBI files. FBI released symbols, triangle. You remember the triangle of trust. Our tattoo shop will not do these tattoos, thank God. Thank God. But yeah, like this is like from an FBI list. These two and the triangle of just something about it just makes me feel kind of sick. And if you put these two together, they kind of like are the same. Like this is really like a triangle, just upside down. Yes, please be mindful with the comments. Yeah, conspiracy hat is on.com. Okay, hold on. I need to make sure there wasn't something filed. Somebody said something about the judge letting the case go forward with diversity. So I just need to make sure there isn't breaking news on the Reckless Ben court document saga. Going to Pacer right now. Okay. Not a video. Filing. Okay. Cool. All right. So we do have a little bit of a breaking news update. Very, very briefly. Ben had removed this case from the state court to federal court. He basically did not want to be in Utah State Court. He wanted to be in the federal court. And so he did this notice of removal. That appeared to be allowed. It appeared like that was going to be, now it was going to be in the federal court. But then the judge said, not so fast. The judge said, not so fast. I need to know about this Reckless Ben LLC company. I need to know if any of the members of the LLC are residents of Utah. If any of the members of the LLC, Reckless Ben LLC, are Utah residents, then the judge is like, I can't hear this case. So he gave Ben a certain amount of time to reply and say, who are the members of his Reckless Ben LLC. Ben did then go and sorry, I got distracted by all his comments. Ben did go and make that filing through his lawyer saying that he was the only member of the LLC. He was the only person who had any membership of the LLC. It's only him. So the judge is like, okay, cool, great. So now we have an update here. Docket order. This court is in receipt of defendant Reckless Ben's corporate disclosure statement. The corporate disclosure statement complies with the court's order and adequately demonstrates diversity. Accordingly, the court's order at 23, which was, when the judge had asked Ben to demonstrate the membership of his LLC, the order has been resolved. No further action is necessary. Signed by Judge Barlow, David Barlow, on today, July 30th, 2026. Okay, so where were we here? I went to the Epstein files and I was searching. I was looking at different little things here. Some of these we'll click on. These are just things I found of interest. I was searching different different search terms to try to see if I could find anything. I searched Comer, Mark Comer. There was some Comer stuff, but it was James Comer, the politician, and he's a Baptist. I don't think he's related to this guy. Just random assortment of emails. This one's from 2010. P.S. Okay, who's it from? From Valerie Post to Jeffrey Epstein. You're missing Imam Faisal Abdul Rauf speaking at the council right now. I think you should sell JetBlue and buy. So this is an email to Jeffrey Epstein. I think you should sell JetBlue and buy that building along with the strip clubs around it and build an orphanage for Middle Eastern children that could have grown up to be terrorists otherwise. That would absolve you of whatever landed you in prison, and you would be a hero. I have to show you this article on buying respectability. Milken did it. This is in the Epstein files. I searched orphanage. That's why. That's how I ended up finding this. This is, I just took a picture of it, so I don't have the file number. Jeffrey Epstein sent to her, 7:45 in the morning, September 13th. Orange juice before you go to work. 7 East, 71 at 9. Orange juice before you go to work. And she's like, P.S. You're missing this guy speaking at the council right now. I think you should sell JetBlue and buy that building and the strip clubs around it and build an orphanage. Why would he build an orphanage out of strip clubs? For Middle Eastern children that could have grown up to be terrorists otherwise. I'm just reading, okay? Don't shoot the messenger. That would absolve you of whatever landed you in prison. So this is 2010. When did he go to prison? 2007. For what? Child, you know what? You should build an orphanage because why? To launder his image. I have to show you this article on buying respectability. Milken did it. Here's another one from 2016. I haven't heard. This is from Soon Yi. This is from Woody Allen's child bride. He started dating her when she was his stepdaughter, and then they ended up together. Or she was his stepdaughter at all times, I guess, but I don't know exactly when he started dating her, but they met when she was young. Soon Yi. She sends an email to Jeffrey Epstein, 2016. I haven't heard yet about the plans for the orphanage. Wait, let's go this one first. So this is here. 6 in the morning, December 14th, 2016. Jeffrey Epstein. Wrote. Jeffrey Epstein writes, rebellious girls equals must nag. I think it means Mustang. Equals, at least there was a truck. I have you orphanage money. I think these equal signs is actually like a mess up. Like he didn't type that. It was like when they were processing these files, some of them got like kind of weirdly corrupted like this. Rebellious girls must nag equal, at least there was a truck. I have you orphanage money, $15K. You were going to tell me the U.S. charity to write the check to. So in 2016, Jeffrey Epstein is emailing Woody Allen's child bride asking, hey, I got $15,000 for an orphanage. Who do I write this $15,000 check to? What's her response? I haven't heard yet about the plans for the orphanage, so you better hold on to the money until I hear from them. Thank you. I have a hard time believing you watched the movie. I hope you didn't watch it last night when you were tired. You probably just skimmed the movie or just read the synopsis. It doesn't do it justice. You have to watch the movie from start to finish and let it unfold. Okay, so that's from the search term orphanage. Tell me which charity to make the $15,000 check to. Wants the orphanage money. She said, hold off, I don't know about it yet. Here is, we don't know who this is from and who it's to, but this one is from 2019. So this would have been in the like stage of where people were actually sending in tips and stuff. So take with a grain of salt, but it says, Dear Sirs, a 2019 documentary currently being shown on Netflix Canada entitled The Disappearance of Madeleine McCann is about the 4-year-old English girl who disappeared from Portugal in 2007 while on holiday with her parents and siblings. She's never been found. In Series 1, Episode 3, Portuguese journalists refer to a scandal that took place years earlier regarding abuse in a Portuguese orphanage. It is referred to as the Pact of Silence. In connection with the orphanage, Casa Pia, a journalist, states that it is a known fact that American millionaires were flying into Portugal on private jets for the purpose of blank blank these children. Now, this is one photograph from the Epstein files. Came up when I typed in orphanage. This one's in Chile. Our Little Roses Orphanage. This is Jeffrey Epstein file EFTA 00279394. The flamingos wish the pelicans the best of luck. All proceeds benefit redacted. Pictures of children redacted. But that is from 100% organic coffee. Proceeds go to Our Little Roses Orphanage in Chile. Now, this one right here is very interesting. This one's about a calling. A calling. Remember callings? Do you remember callings? Now, this is from 2023. This is obviously somebody sending in to the victim's assistance specialist. So this is somebody that appears to be claiming to be an Epstein victim. She or he emailed in 2023 in May. Good afternoon. Thank you for the follow-up. The victims will wait until after Geilenfeld is arrested. I think that might be Ghislaine. Is there a Geilenfeld or is that a code name? The victims will wait. You don't know who this is from and who it's to. It could be from someone in the government. It could be from somebody that's a victim, but it's like a victim's advocate, Homeland Security Investigations, Miami, Florida. Thank you for the follow-up. Good afternoon. The victims will wait until after Geilenfeld is arrested and in jail to look for any help from you. You have to understand they were involved with getting the arrest warrant 8 years ago. They have spoken with judges, law enforcement from Haiti, and the U.S. attorneys, doctors, psychologists. There's a current active red Interpol alert based on the arrest warrant. I've been sued. There was an active arrest warrant from Haiti for all this stuff. No one helped me, not the U.S. Embassy, nobody from law enforcement agencies, not even the Haitian consulate in Atlanta. Geilenfeld and so this is a real person. Geilenfeld and his directors sued the victims and me with criminal charges as claiming I was a gang leader in Haiti. After 18 months of going back and forth to Haiti to fight these charges, the judge finally dismissed them. I have not been able to get my Haitian attorney to sue them for the frivolous lawsuit. Right now, Haiti does not have a functioning government. The time I get justice would have been October 2015. At this point, there's probably been more than $1 million spent by U.S. taxpayers investigating him through the multiple accusations through the years. It's worse than Epstein. Here we are months later, excuse after excuse, and investigator after investigator, and this man walks free. I have spent a fortune on this. These young men have been interviewed by Homeland Security attorneys in the Department of Justice since 2019. At one point, I was told the reason for the delay was COVID. I'm sorry, but I don't believe that at all. The victims are trying to get on with their lives. Part of the grooming from this man was to threaten them by saying, don't even think of telling any visitors what's happening here at this house because no one's going to believe you. I worked with Mother Teresa, and you are a Haitian liar, cheater, and stealer. Millions of dollars has been raised through the years, and this man has multiple properties and is still running the show in Haiti and the Dominican Republic. He wants to get back to his new orphanage in the Dominican Republic for his, quote, calling to work with children. Now, she's talking about somebody specific. She's talking about Geilenfeld. This man had a calling to work with children at his orphanage. How can it be possible he has a new orphanage when he has had red and blue Interpol alert and active arrest warrants from Haiti for RS exploitation and identity theft since October 2015? This guy is notorious in Haiti. He has spent, now just so you know, Haiti and Dominican Republic are on the same island. This guy is notorious. He has spent 237 days in Haitian penitentiary for exploiting minors in his care. He was released on parole in the case in the appeals court in Haiti. They let him out. His license was revoked by the Child Protective Services in Haiti in January 2014. In a deposition recently taken by a judge, he testified he had received multiple complaints against this guy. There's no need for further delay. The victims have risked their lives to testify. Okay, so she's trying to complain about somebody who has an orphanage, and they're just letting him be, and he's abusing children, and that's in the Epstein files. Now, those are just allegations. Here's the next one. This is Epstein file EFTA 024399213. St. Andrew's Catholic Orphanage in Peru. I thought this was interesting just as a side note, because one of the orphanages I found was Chile, which is where Mark Comer went on his mission. And the other one, this one's being specifically mentioned, is Peru, which is where Dan McNeff went on his mission. So I just thought that was interesting. But this appears to be somebody's CV. Somebody was applying to work for some job. I think it was somebody that Epstein was maybe trying to help get a job or something. And so it's somebody's resume. And then there's this one about the $15,000 for the orphanage. Woody Allen sent to, I guess, Jeffrey Epstein that he felt guilty about his extravagant Apple Watch, considering the orphans, but not guilty enough to return it. I love that the face says Hermes Paris. I have to put another hole or two in the Hermes wristbands. So his watch band was too big. Why? Are you giving it to Bichette? Yes, because she is so deserving, says Woody Allen. I told you, I have very tiny wrists. It's a very funny idea of me wanting to give it to Bichette. You see, you can be funny at times, said Woody Allen. I'm sure she's the reason why I need one or two more notches in the wristband. Even if she's not the reason, I'm blaming her. 9 times out of 10, I'm going to be right. I don't like to leave anything to chance, but supposing something happened to you, how do you know I would get the $15,000 for the orphanage? This is from Woody Allen. I'm going to also match the $15K. Can you put it in your will, or better yet, write me a check for it now? This is in 2016. I heard your email was not legally binding. Checked it out with a lawyer. He said, remember, life is very unpredictable. Is this a threat to kill Jeffrey Epstein? What am I stumbled upon here? Woody Allen, the disgraced Hollywood Time's Up director, sent an email to Jeffrey Epstein and said, I don't want to leave anything to chance, but supposing something happened to you, how do I know I would get the $15,000 for the orphanage? I'm going to also match that $15K. Can you put it in your will or write me a check for it now? I heard your email was not legally binding. I asked my lawyer. Remember, life is very unpredictable. He said, yeah, it is binding on my trustees, but I'm happy to take care of it Monday. I promise I won't buy another Hermes Apple Watch because who needs 2? Give me the name in detail. I'm stumped. What name? You can make it out to me, said Woody Allen. I think that would be the easiest, just so you know there's no tax deduction for this. I think you can afford it. What did I just stumble upon? I didn't even read this whole thing before. You're not getting a write-off for donating to this orphanage. Just write me the $15,000 check, Woody Allen said. Oh my God. My mistake. Just kidding. He's like, don't make the check out to me. We have to wait for my friend to find out how to best use the money for the orphanage and what kind of installments. We want this as clean as possible. Hold off and stay healthy until we hear from her. She'll be writing a proposal. Remember what I'd said. Just put it in your will. Okay, I think it's safe to say that some weird stuff's going on with orphanages in the world. Thank you so much to Christy for the $2 super chat. You're so right. It does feel like Epstein-esque behavior. It sure does. Thanks so much. Thank you to Sissel for the 20. One thought was adoption and then legal child marriage. Thanks so much to Julie for the $19.99. Get 'em, girl. Thank you so much to Hey from Faye for the $20 Australian. Triangle of Truth. Triangles are used as the symbol. Yep. I showed that. Thank you, Salt in Exile, for the $5. I practice an Indonesian martial art. Using the power to help blind people is a real thing in that culture. That's fine. I just don't know if like little kids need to be massaging adults for training. Thanks so much to Sim J for the 5 gifted memberships. Thank you. Thank you, Glitter Cat for the 1,000 jewels goat trophy. Thank you to Teresa for the 10 jewels. Thanks so much to Rose. Did you see the BAM map update today on Mark Comer? No. I'll go over there now. Thank you for the $2 again. Rose something update. I can't see what that is. Rose something. I don't know what that means. Thanks so much for the $2. Let me go to the website. The month he signed the FTC ban, he bought the business. Oh, girl. On November 30th, 1998, Mark Comer signed a federal court order promising to stop selling business opportunities and never again misrepresent what a buyer could earn. In March 1999, so just a few months later, the same month the Federal Trade Commission approved that settlement, Mark Comer bought the business that the whole lawsuit was about. iMall's own annual report records the company selling the fixed assets related to the former seminar division to Mark Comer. I swear, they're never going to escape the Freemasons and Satanists allegations. $333,000. He paid that money in the company's own stock. I'm pretty sure that's how BAM was acquired as well. Through stock option or whatever. The ban did not end the seminar. It moved it into his name. Every single figure below is from iMall's SEC filings and the FTC's own executed order, obtained in full via FOIA request. Why it belongs here? It's because the asset protection brand, legally mine, at the center of the rest of all of the reporting. It was built by the McNeff family, whose franchise dispute is at the center of this whole dispute. Then they sprung its brand, and this spring its brand. I don't know what that means. Then they moved to a company controlled by Mark Comer. This site but the BAM map already reported that Comer signs the flagship charity returns that the FTC barred him for life in 1999. What was not yet on the record, what iMall actually was. We already went through that in the order. The settlement is summarized as a lifetime ban on selling internet business opportunities. We read this yesterday. There's no expiration. He's permanently banned from violating any provision of the franchise rule, misrepresenting any material fact. He was also ordered to. The order also entered a $4 million judgment and required a $500,000 bond before he could sell any business opportunity. The activity bans are drafted to reach him in any costume. Each one applies, whether directly or indirectly, in court. What the signature does. Okay, he agreed to it. iMall discontinued the seminar division on August 28th, 1998, as the FTC investigation closed in. Then, in the company's own words, in its annual report filed that year, in March 1999, the company entered into an agreement to sell the fixed assets to Mark Comer. The FTC approved the settlement. The $4 million was 2 debts and only one was paid. Okay. I did see there was another update. BAM may be violating the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. There's a federal law about collecting personal information from children online. It's called the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, and it is enforced by the Federal Trade Commission. Bricks and Minifigs knows about this law. The company wrote a section titled Age Verification and COPPA Compliance into the rules of one of its sweepstakes. It did not write one of these for the rewards club that records a child's birthday, for the birthday parties it books for 5-year-olds, nor did they record one of these into the privacy policy on its store websites. It tells the reader that the site is not intended for children under 13. A company that plans in its own operations manual for a lot of children in their stores, it's very telling that the children are not there. This post reads the documents against each other. Whether they add up to a violation is a question for the SEC, right? Or the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission. We already know they know about the law. The official rules of the Bricks and Minifigs MegaCon Orlando 2026 giveaway carry a section of their own. It's titled Age Verification and COPPA Compliance. This sweepstakes is intended for adults aged 18 and older. Sponsor does not knowingly collect or store personal information from individuals under the age of 13. If sponsors Bricks and Minifigs, discovers that an entry has been submitted by an individual under the age of 18, or if a parent or guardian informs the sponsor that a minor has submitted personal information, that entry will be immediately deleted and disqualified from the sweepstakes. That is a children's privacy notice. That's what that is. Look, this is not intended for children, 18 and older only. It establishes 3 things at once. The company knows COPPA exists. The company knows how to write an age notice, privacy notice, and the company decided where they were going to put one time. They put it on the giveaway. Not in the rewards enrollment, not on the party booking, and not on the store privacy policy. The stores are built for children in the company's own words. Who the customer is not in dispute. Remember, the parents are just a what? Conduit to the children, or the children are the conduit to the parent. The operations manual stocks the store bathroom with diapers as a stepping stool, because in the manual's own words, they are going to have a lot of children in their stores and they want to get them alone, away from the parents in the triangle of trust. There's also the customer chapter where they name the child the conduit to the parents that the store buys from. So they're like going to be, making these relationships in the store. That's what they're being instructed and taught to do. The storefronts match the manual. A Bricks and Minifigs birthday party is booked online through the store's own shop. A deposit is charged up front for children. The party pages put ages 5 and up. The rewards program, which is free to join, is one the company invites a customer to share with the whole family. The rewards program, it records a birthday. The store pages promise a reward on your birthday. Subject matter: the toy every child associates with the word, child-oriented activity, the activities, the party, and the build bar and the minifigures the child assembles and takes home. These are incentives aimed at families and birthday parties. These are the exact features the FTC's rule tells the commission to weigh. The privacy policy on the store website says the reverse of the manual. The Anaheim store policy, it was last updated 2019, and the Salt Lake store policy, which was last updated in 2021, both of them use the same words. Quote, this website, quote, is not intended for children under 13. No one under the age of 13 may provide any personal information on this website. We do not knowingly collect personal info from children under 13. There's also the Grand Rapids store policy, updated 5 days before this post. It was just updated July 25th, 2026. It carries the same disclaimer in the newer form that these services are not intended to be used by children. The company's own corporate privacy policy, which was last updated in 2019, doesn't mention children at all. The only child in its warning is a warning that some sets contain small parts not suitable for children. A store that plans for a lot of children to come in tells the reader in the one document that governs their data that the children are not its audience. Okay, so basically, I think, what the point is here is like, is BAM violating the Child Privacy Act by storing data of children's birthdays and other information in ways that violate the law? The answer is we don't know. But, maybe that needs to be something looked into. I just can't stop thinking about the operations manual triangle of trust. Let's see what else. I do have a video coming out tonight on this channel. So make sure y'all come back around tonight when my video comes out tonight on this channel. So I also found I didn't find this. Let me correct. I did not find Mark Comer associated with Legally Mine. And I also did not find specifically this either. Somebody sent this to me. And thank you to the person who sent this to me. Maybe it was Tattle. Who knows? But there's this seminar, this webinar from 5 years ago, 2021, American Academy of Craniofacial Pain, the keys to locking out lawsuits for healthcare professionals with Steve Comer of Legally Mine. Now, the person who sent me this did a lot of research. I wasn't able to look all into all of it. So they are alleging that this Steve Comer here is actually the brother of Mark Comer. So that would be more of a connection back in against Legally Mine again. So I do think that this Mark Comer who set up the who owned the 5-Star Legacy charity or whatever foundation. I'm going to look that up too. Oh, I did. I got their 990 forms too. Let me pull those up. 5-Star Legacy Foundation. So that year that they did all that was 2009, and it also appears to be the first year that they actually did file a Form 990 with the IRS. This is where, they were trying to help build school massage parlors at the orphanage. Other expenses, promotional advertising and special events. I think this is their golf tournament. No, they didn't start doing that till 2009, I think, right? Accounts, notes payable. Fund supplies to orphanages in Indonesia and Chile. Remember, he did his mission there, I think. Approximately 50 children were helped with school supplies and educational funds. 27,000. Got the 27 club, girl. Mark Comer, Michael Beck, Stuart Anstead, Craig Lewis, and Erica Morris. 5-Star Legacy Foundation based in Utah. He was employed Dartmouth Consulting. Preparer. Mark Comer was the director. This is their first 990 form with the IRS. This is that orphanage massage parlor to help the children escape poverty. I have the 2010 one too. Let me pull that one up, and then we can pull up the most recent one. Oh man, it's 5-Star Legacy Foundation. My God. 60,000 contributions, gifts, grants. What is the primary purpose? Funding of orphanages. What was achieved? Provided funds and supplies for Indonesian orphanages. Approximately 150 children are beneficiaries. Again, about $27,000. Loans. Oh, this is interesting. Did the organization borrow from or make loans to any officer, director, trustee, or key employee? They said yes. $3,900. What the Craig Lewis is the bookkeeper in 2010. Mark Comer, president. Dartmouth Consulting did the preparation. These are public documents, by the way. Now, we've made more money, right? Last year was like in the 60,000. Now it's 113,000 the next year. Maybe people were getting something out of them orphanages or something. I don't know. Public support percentage for 2010 is 100%. Just something is just not. Mark Comer loaned money, I guess, $4,000. Activity, orphanage supplies and funds, grantee Indonesian orphanages in the amount of $26,700. Marketing and advertising. Ugh. So it looks like they kind of like didn't really it looks like they kind of like didn't really do every year 990s. I got one from 2017. Let's see if we can see anything about the. Okay, it looks like they kind of stopped trying to raise money, I guess, in 20, like they let it fall off. Cuz this one is like zero. They're just doing zero across the board here, and then they lost $575. They had 15,000 in the bank. Okay, so they've changed the purpose here. Alleviate the suffering of children, their families, and their communities by breaking the cycle of poverty through literacy aid for children ages K through 12, scholarships for higher education, and self-reliance through entrepreneurism. Well, this doesn't sound like what he was saying in 2009. Mark Comer, Nicole Comer, remember the wife? Michael Beck, Taylor Thomas, and Jason Wild. Mark Comer, president. Curtis Hoffman, preparer. 5-Star Legacy Foundation. They don't really give any details about which one of these, which orphanage, just Indonesian orphanages. Oh, man. Let me pull up the 2024 form. That's the most recent one. Alleviate the suffering of underprivileged children, their families, and their communities by breaking the cycle of poverty. And look, they're back up to over 100,000 in contributions and grants. Under penalty of perjury, I declare all this is true. Mark Comer, alleviate the suffering of underprivileged children by opening a massage parlor at the orphanage in 2009. Is it? Oh, no, okay. Is the organization required to complete Schedule B? Yes, okay. Oh, this is interesting. Oh, yeah, well, they're married. That makes sense. Mark Comer, Nicole Comer, Michael Beck, and Lisa Christensen. This must be the brother-in-law and the sister. Lobbying. Legal, $1,200 in legal. $700 in advertising. Merchant accounting fees or ACCT fees, bank service charges, charitable project supplies, total the expenses are $166,000. 'Cause $95,000 cash. So they got 2020 through 2020 for COVID. They must have not been traveling, girl, because 2021, nothing going on. 2020, 44,000 gifts, grants, contributions, total 44, 208 in 2024. 208,000 total public support since 2020 is $500,000. Golf tournament was the event. They spent, okay, so they made like 50 grand on the golf tournament. Oh, this is what I was looking for. Grants and other assistance to other organizations, governments. Yep, this right here. This is where it goes. Okay, this is interesting. All right, grants and other assistance to organizations, governments, and individuals in the United States. So if you as a nonprofit, you can take your nonprofit money and you can actually support another nonprofit if they're doing something. Like you can that's like a permissible way to spend the money if you want to work on a project together or whatever. So the only catch is you got to report that after a certain amount of money and stuff. So look at this. So we saw that the income of the company this year was about, I don't know, 150,000 or something. Or not income. It wouldn't be considered income because you know what I mean. Like, whatever the name is, not profit, but whatever it comes in. Elevate Nations, they gave $10,000 to. They gave, so this Mark Comer Orphanage helping nonprofit that helped the orphans learn how to do the massages on the people, them. According to that 2009 article, that organization is giving money out to other organizations for certain projects. One organization it gave money out to is Elevate Nations, which is a $10,000 they gave to help poor African farmers. Okay, look, that's what it says. I'm just reading. Now, there's also Edwards's Hands, Inc. They gave them $6,000 to, quote, help special needs kids. Now, they gave $5,000 plus a $2,300 book to method evaluation. Oh, book. No, sorry. Excuse me. Plus sack lunches. Okay. So $5,000 total in cash plus non-cash an amount of $2,300. And that's the sack lunches. So they gave some lunches. So they spent, $7,300 to help poor preschool kids the road home. But look at this column, girl. Amount of cash, they gave $120,000 to the Ampellis Foundation in Highland, Utah. 120. So it's not like they getting on the plane with $120,000 and going over there and giving it to the orphanage. They just giving it to another place called Ampellis Foundation for, quote, education. What in the shit is the Ampellis Foundation from Highland, Utah? That's basically most of the money that they have made that year cash. They gave $120,000 cash to Ampellis Foundation. What is that? Nutrition. Bitch, I swear, if this shit circles back around to this Provo Canyon school, I'm going to faint. I'm going to faint, if so. The Ampellis Foundation is a tax-exempt public charity based in Highland, Utah, focused on mental health, crisis intervention, and connecting mental health advocates. It operates alongside Ampellis Health, an organization providing integrative psychiatry, nutritional support, and lifestyle coaching. Who? Okay, what? I feel like I'm 20 years old again. What? $120,000 from Mark Comer's charity in the 2024? BYU School of Business, National Advisory Council. Lon Henderson started Ampellis, and he's a BYU dude. Asset management, entrepreneurship, and private equity. $120,000 went to this guy's company from Mark Comer's nonprofit. I feel like this is a child prison school somehow. Crisis intervention, nonprofit, showing up and hauling people off or what? He's the founder and CEO of Ampellis LLC, an enterprise providing experiential learning curriculum and tools to aid organizations, families, and individuals making a durable change which results in a state of thriving. Bitch. He is also the founder and past CEO of Soltis Investment Advisors. Girl, is every single person who ever graduated from BYU a lawyer, a cop, or an investment advisor? He's founder and past CEO of Soltis Investment Advisors, a nationally registered investment advisory firm. He's serving as chairman of the board. His background in entrepreneurship, portfolio asset management, and private equity has been focused on creating, building, and managing wealth so his partners, employees, and clients may pursue life's most important endeavors. Lon earned his bachelor's degree in family finance. There's a bachelor's in family finance at BYU. And his MBA from BYU. Lon and Carrie have 6 children and 19 grandchildren. Okay, so this guy has a nondescript charity. I don't know what the shit this thing does. An enterprise providing experiential learning, curriculum, and tools that aid organizations, families, and individuals in making a durable change, which results in a state of thriving. What the shit is that? What is that? And why did he need $120,000 from Mark Comer after they did a golf tournament? That's taking too long. Roundup.org. Building and nurturing high-level connections. This is what we're giving the money to? So when you think you're giving, this is what I was trying to get at here. This is exactly what I was trying to get at. You see the headline, right? Nonprofit helping Indonesian orphans. Right? You saw it. Then we saw the 990 form. Now, that was from 2009. Things can change. Things can change. They're allowed to change. I'm not saying something illegal happened, but I'm just saying. You would look up this place, this organization, this 5-Star Legacy Foundation. You would think they help in Indonesian orphans, maybe some Chilean orphanages or whatever, orphanages. And when you actually look at the paperwork, 120 of their $150,000 that came in went to another nonprofit, not Indonesian orphans. No, ma'am. $120,000 went to engaging and building and nurturing high-level connections with other mental health advocates and foundations. What? Carrie Henderson, Lon Henderson, Jessica Harmon, Robert Harmon. Core 7. Oh, girl, this better not be a mother effing MLM that sells this shit. It better not. Oh, I'm going scorched earth if it is. What is Am-fucking-fellis? Oh, ooh, I'm getting mad. I'm getting mad. Where is Where is Valhalla? This is the closest to Rico I've seen, girl. You sent me an, oh my God, shout out to Cuter. They are connected, sent you an email. Great find. All right, I'm going to check the email in a second. Or in a minute. Shop now. What the shit is Core 7? $100 for a bag of powder? Girl, that thing better make me see the 7 kingdoms. Membership discounts. Boom. Boom. Oh, 123. Oh, Mark Comer, you better close down that Legally Mine business and step away, buddy. You all better put your hands up and go back to stepping away to doing your golf tournaments and whatever you were doing. I promise you don't want no smoke and what we about to find. That's not a threat. I will only be looking into public records, and I promise you, from the feeling I'm getting in my gut and from the chills I keep getting on my arms, you're not going to like what I'm going to find in public records. And I'm going to tell the public what's already public. Everybody helping these people cover their shit needs to step away. Let the McNeffs take their hit, take their lick, and take accountability. Everybody trying to, the Gibbs, the Dan McNeff even, take your lick and stop trying to put bodies as shields in front of you. That's just the truth. Let me check my email. Wait, which email did you send it to? Oh, gotcha. I got it. I don't go on that site. Do you have a different site? Do you have a different place? I don't go there. I'm very opposed to it. I'll email you back. Hold on. Okay. Thank you for emailing me. I emailed you back. Just checking a FOIA request real quick. Okay, I gotta call and make a payment. Let me see. I'm gonna forward this to my mom. Everybody bother my mom in the chat and tell her to go and call them and pay this. Oh, I don't know her email address. Hold on. Okay. I will reach out. I will reach out there. I can definitely do that. Hold on. I'm doing y'all, I can't do a bunch of stuff at once. I can do one thing at once. And okay, hold on. I'm sending it to my mom. She needs to call and pay this payment for some public records. I keep being live and forgetting, and they're going to close out my record request. Mom, go pay this. Okay, I sent it to you. Okay. Now, we need to do one more thing, and then we'll get back to our investigating. Y'all, I mean, I'm going to keep pulling on the strings. Mark Comer, don't go down for Dan McNeff. Do not go down for Dan McNeff. You better not go down for Dan McNeff. Because now it's like I'm looking at everything. I'm looking at everybody. Okay. So just so y'all know, this account right here, Jest at Cuter, he's the one that did that whole Legally Mine investigation. Like, he went to interview the lawyer who got Legally Mine kicked out of being able to do their thing in Ohio over there. He also went and tracked down Julie, the doctor, Dr. Julie, the doctor or dentist or whatever she is in her profession or whatever. Some type of doctor. She had filed complaints against Dan McNeff. He went over there and they deleted the video. The video got deleted. All right, I'm just looking up a couple things here, making sure we're not missing anything. Okay, no. Thank you for the $2. Thank you, Patrick, for the $5. Ampellis 2024 reported $22,000 in revenue, $292,000 loss with $314,000 in expenses. And it looks like the $120K wasn't reported. Ben posted a video. Patrick, woo, so much is happening right now. They reported the $22,000 in revenue, and it looks like they didn't report the $120,000. Patrick, great find. I'm gonna have to look into that, or somebody that's got more experience looking into nonprofits can look into it. I'm kind of a what's the word? Clumsy when it comes to that type of research. I don't know too much about nonprofits and financing and looking at financial statements. Like, not too much about it. Let me go see what Ben did. Ben posted a video, they saying. What's it about? What is it about? What did he post it on? Reckless Ben? Who created Brick by Brick? Okay, let's find out. Hope nothing crazy happens.
Since we posted...
First time I heard Brick by Brick as like a slogan was Tufstino, actually. Okay, this is the Who Created Brick by Brick. Okay. Let me, like it. This is on Ben Schneider, his second channel. Let me put my headphones on. It already has, oh, it only has 6,300 views. That's surprising. I'm used to him having all kind of views. Okay, let me turn the captions on. All right, let's see. Do I have the right sound on? Do I have the right thing on? Just got to check all my different things. Sorry. All right, here we go.
Since we posted this Lego video, the chant Brick by Brick has gone insanely viral, and it's become pretty much a household catchphrase. Here's some examples.
Brick by brick, brick by brick.
The problem is Victor thinks he made it, but Ben also thinks he made it.
I made Brick by Brick.
We're looking through the footage to see who actually said it.
Congratulations, I did it. This was my dream.
We had,
Think it, dream it, do it, boys. Let's go.
Build it, or brick by brick,
Brick by brick.
brick by. We had already came up with it before.
Yes.
So
yes.
did we film this? Did we film it?
I hope we
I don't
did.
think we did. But this is how it went.
We were all.
It's an investigation. They're arguing over who made up Brick by Brick.
No, I'm telling you, this is how it went. I was like, we need to come up with like a chant, something that we can just say.
Let's see. There
and then,
might be
we're like, oh,
a
get the Legos
slogan.
back or something like that. And I was like, no. And then someone was like, we got to get it one brick at a time. And I was like, oh, brick by brick.
Brick by Brick is a good slogan.
It was kind of cute.
Forgetting.
I'm not forgetting shit.
I know exactly how it went down. Somebody was like, we need it. You
That
were
was
like,
me.
you were like, we need
That
to
was
come up
me.
with a chant. You were like, build it. And then I was like, brick by brick. And then we all started chanting it. We all started
That's
chanting it.
BS,
I
bro.
swear to
That's
God,
BS.
that's exactly.
There's no way you didn't come up with that.
Victor was going to sleep and he heard.
No.
Is that when we started it?
No.
He said
We
we
have to have
started.
camera footage of this.
Let me slow it down. I have it on 1.25, but it's a little too overstimulating. I can't tell what they're saying.
by brick, and then we all started chanting it. We all started
That's
chanting it.
BS, bro.
I swear to
That's
God,
BS.
that's exactly.
There's no way you didn't fucking come up with
I
that.
love how Victor was going to sleep and he heard
No.
my break and was like, is that when we started it?
No,
He said
we
we
have to
started.
have camera footage of this. Where's the GoPro?
We gotta take bets. We gotta take bets.
I know I made this up. And I was like, oh, brick by brick.
No.
Are they drunk?
I swear I was the one that came up with it. I was just. We were like, we just gotta come up with a chant, and then I was like, brick by brick, brick by brick.
How is this a video? What is going on?
Literally, that's how I remember it.
You out of nowhere, you're like,
And the way the camera's going back and forth, I'm getting car sick. What is this video?
oh, what about brick by brick?
No, I just started chanting it. We need to find the footage.
Wait, go back a little
Wait.
bit. There's-
I remember it.
Wait, I need a, what's the, oh, I thought that was me. See how it has like a purple up a line right there? I saw that quick flash of purple. I'm like, are they watching BJC live show right now? They need to get back to doing that, but no, it's not.
You out of nowhere, you're like, oh, what about brick by brick?
No, I just started chanting it. We need to find the footage.
Wait, go back a little bit. There's got to be something.
Well, girl, at this rate, I hope they find it because now I'm interested. I feel like I got the sunk cost fallacy.
This is killing me.
You did not start that. Go ahead, say it.
The way Jammin said it outside, I believe him that he believes, right? But the way you came out after being like, guys, tonight we're going to bed, we can't stay up too late. The way you came out as soon as they started digging through the footage, I also believe that you firmly believe it.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I've invested, I need to know.
Who do you?
That's what I was saying.
I don't know.
Brick by brick. You just came up with it?
Yes, I do.
I feel like this is like a BT, like a behind the scenes. I'm not like necessarily supposed to see. Like this feels like something I was never meant to really see.
Like, that means you would have had to do the same thing.
The footage has to be found. If it's not found, nobody's going to sleep. No.
This is
I
killing.
mean, it's cute. It's wholesome. It's much more wholesome than taking stripping down to their drawers and going and hanging a sign somewhere. So, I mean, this is better than that.
The curiosity
In
is
my
killing
opinion.
me. This has potential.
Sick. Okay, I guess the first thing I gotta make a contract.
Folders,
Dang, we can't find it anywhere in the footage. We're going through all the raw files to figure out the answers, guys.
Oh, this might be it.
Yesterday, that's
Oh, this might be it. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Okay, I hope it's it.
Oh, here we go.
And then we walk up all in black out.
Are you nervous?
The suspense is killing
They're
me.
like nervous.
Oh, wait.
Honestly, a regular
They gotta be sipping on something, girl.
YouTuber would have stopped filming today, man, and been like crazy.
Now,
sick. And then, we should do some chants. Oh, so I'm the one that came up with the idea of let's do some chants. Okay.
This is how I remember.
I didn't come up with the chant, but I came up with the idea to do a chant. Haha.
wait, hold on. I'm pretty sure I said something later on. Just wait.
Oh yeah.
You know what? When you're in there, someone should run in and be like, dude, are you know, what's his name for Ryan's World?
This is kind of cute to see this footage, like them like planning out the skit, like they're planning out that skit of like the fake Victor's World thing.
And they should come and take selfies with him. Be like, dude, like.
That's cute. It's cute to see how that was
You're my
made.
hero.
Do you want to do that?
I will, yeah, I can do it.
Oh wait, but then you. No, you're.
I like that too.
Shouted like a grown ass man. Are you part of Ryan's world?
Oh, what the fuck did I just say?
Wait, it sounded like Sheldon said it. We gotta have some type of phrase.
Are you part of Ryan's world?
All right, listen up. Oh no, that was Victor. Then we can have some kind of phrase. He did say that.
What did I just say? Ah!
Well,
Okay.
you supposed to have a phrase.
I said some kind of phrase. Okay, are you fucking?
This is one of the reasons I don't work in groups. This is one of the reasons I don't work in groups because people start forgetting what the mission is about and they all just start wanting to get credit. They start all just wanting to have I made that up. No, you didn't say thank you enough times. No, that was my idea. No, it was me. Let's run the footage back and spend 45 minutes of our life. And like, I mean, this is cute. This is fine. I'm not like criticizing them. They can do what they want. And maybe it doesn't bother other people, but it aggravates the piss out of me when we're trying to like, I don't know, get justice against corruption and tyranny, and people start acting like, I don't ever get enough credit. I don't never get enough credit for what I do. It's just kind of like, okay, like then just don't work with me, because like I got stuff to do. I got real stuff to do besides giving somebody credit all the damn time. If somebody deserves credit, of course I want to give them the credit. Okay, of course I do. I never truly want to take credit for something I didn't do. That don't feel righteous, you know, that feels wrong. But like, girl, I mean, please, it's happened so many times where I'm like working with people, we're up all hours of the night, we're trying to work on an investigation. Truly, I don't remember who came up with what. We're all just trying to do it fast. We're just trying to get it done. We're trying to get justice for someone who died, or like someone who's trapped, or someone who's enslaved. And like, there's always like that one loser that's like, that was my idea and I didn't get credit. It's like, bitch, then go do it on your own then. It's aggravating. Anyway, also I don't work in groups because I get very overstimulated, and all that laughing and cackling would stress me out. But they're young, they're cute, they're boys, I think it's very wholesome considering, you know, what they could be out here doing, what the kids these days are doing. I'm glad that Ben is posting behind the scenes. That is really cool to see. Thank you, Zan, for the 10 jewels. Thank you, Night 1A, for the $4.99. Had to step away as you were unraveling threads. Can you recap what you learned today? No. You have to watch it. You have to watch it. Thank you for the $4.99. Yeah, Victor being Victor. Victor. No, they're not drunk. They're high on life. Young, enthusiastic, finding ways, brainstorming, young adults. That's cute. Good for them. I don't think all of them are 30. Some of them are. But some of them are not 30. Like, I do think that the pendulum swung a little bit too far in the other direction. Like at first, everybody was calling them kids. And then a couple of them were like, Ben is 30 years old. But they're not all 30. Some of them are definitely kids to me. I'm going to be 36 in 2 months. All right. If you're 25, you a kid. All right. I'm sorry. Whoever it offends, get over it. Get the fuck over it. I was called a kid when I was 25 too. Wah. Anyway, that's all I really had for this one. In the meantime, facts ain't defamation, neither are opinions. And I got y'all going over there to Sheldon's today. Please come back later. Please come back later because I'm going to be posting a video here. Love you, mean. Okay, bye.